Back from the dead.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're all invited to go fucking mental on this motherfucking drop. The countdown has just begun. Are you ready? Let's go, 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 go.
Now we're back from the dead. We're back from the dead.
Hell yeah.
Back, 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 back. Now we're back from the dead, dead, dead.
Are you ready? Let's go, 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 go.
Back from the dead.
We're back from the dead.
Hell yeah.
We're back from the dead. Back, back, back from the dead. Back from the dead. Dead, 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 dead.
You stole my heart of gold after my silver soul. Can you dig any deeper now? I gave you all I own, put you on this golden throne, but I'm a little stronger now. You cashed in on my promises. You know I'm too generous. Now I've learned to never help you out, 'cause I'm done cleaning up your mess. Found myself in my regrets. I've become a little stronger now. A little stronger now. Cashed in on my promises. You know I'm too generous. Now I've learned to never help you out, 'cause I'm done cleaning up your mess. Found myself in my regrets. I've become a little stronger now. A little stronger now. It's so strong, so strong now. It's so strong, so strong now. It's so strong. You cashed in on my promises. You know I'm too generous. Now I've learned to never help you out, 'cause I'm done cleaning up your mess. Found myself in my regrets. I've become a little stronger now. A little stronger now. just come. We must never stop the way. Yeah. Birds chirping and I hear my name, grasping into life. Life is happy but it's so insane. We must merely make a start. Savannah, I'm coming home. Savannah, we'll never be alone. Savannah, the beauty of the world. Savannah, let's all take a walk. Savannah. Lion's gonna come. The birds have just begun. We will always take a stand for the people, for the land. Let's go back to when we were young. For the animals we stand. Let's go back to when trees were swung. Kids across the land. Savannah, I'm coming home. Savannah, we'll never be alone. Savannah, the beauty of the world. Savannah, let's all take a walk. Savannah, I'm coming home. Savannah, we'll never be alone. Savannah, the beauty of the world. Savannah, let's all take a walk.
It's black.
Hey guys, welcome to Dire Bear Venturing Company's Alone in the Void. I am your Void DMGM guide. My name is Heath. Tonight we have Atlas playing Tane, Maddie who is playing Nara, Skippy being played by Jason, and V who is playing Quentin. Pelka is not able to join us, so our science officer Nain will not be with us. And unfortunately, our captain will not be with us either this evening. So there was no announcement. If anybody is willing to type up an announcement, hey, we're live is all you have to say. I need to post that on Twitter and everywhere else. Unfortunately, today was a day of just not getting things done because I was too busy getting things done. And so by the time I looked up, the day had run away from me. So we're still going to play. We're still going to have fun because this is an outlet for me as well. When last we left off, the party finally made it from one planet to the other, came back only to find that their science officer had fallen ill to some mysterious disease. They locked him in a cryo chamber to slow the creeping death that is upon him. We don't know that it's creeping death, but we're pretty sure it's
We're
creeping
assuming
death.
it's death.
We're always assume it's death.
Just not gonna touch him. That's all.
Always assume the Spanish Inquisition or death, depending on the situation that you're in. Which, in some situations,
It's both.
Whoa.
Working diligently to find a cure. The party was been put to task with certain things. Welcome back. Like I just watched V drop off and back on.
Oh, I'm trying to refresh my camera because I know it's not working. I'm sorry.
I see you just fine.
You do, but Maddie doesn't.
And I'm the important one because I'm the one who's streaming.
And I don't want to
Just me.
fight.
It's weird. On the stream, I see Quentin's picture, but on mine, I see some fantasy chick, looks like.
Oh. For my picture, oh, that's a different D&D character that I fucked up.
That fucked up.
Well,
doesn't
is
like
in the
her.
process of fucking up.
Yeah.
Where I play a Goliath cleric.
Oh no! Wait, is it Aurelia or is it Eden? I don't know.
It's
who's
probably
who.
Aurelia.
I don't know who's who anymore.
A Goliath cleric who takes the idea of tossing dead goblins through windows and throwing them at the feet of wargs to be fun.
Sorry.
And it
Is
is.
this something else you're supposed to do with goblins? I mean,
Well, he befriended one, if that counts for anything.
well,
Like-
I guess you could do that, but I
What
think
was her
throwing
name
them
again?
through windows is much
Gum Gum.
more.
Oh yes, Gum Gum. I remember Gum Gum. Oh, it just kind of didn't click. Okay, sorry.
And then doesn't trust the human, but trusts the goblin implicitly. He
Yeah.
has his reasons. So, but back to this game.
Anyway.
Not that game's not fun. I enjoy that game. But this game. which is hosted by the beautiful Maddie there.
I just don't exist. Sorry. Okay.
So we last left off with you guys trying to find a cure for this disease and working diligently to do so. The Tane, your crew,
As opposed to the many other tonners.
your crew has been diligently scouting out in small groups here and there, doing your best to map out an ever-growing perimeter. And with the help of Quentin, creating maps so that you guys can see what's going on. Skippy, you and the captain have been doing your best to try to put to rest some of the unrest amongst the civilian government, which I should really release all of the people throughout the entirety of that because they all have names and backstories and things like that.
Wait, do we have our captain?
No.
Oh,
She's
okay,
just
never mind.
popping in until she has to go.
Okay, sorry.
Um,
I was like,
as you are waking this morning to set about your day, looking at your agenda, Skippy, you have noted that one of the things is to meet with the captain, who is to meet with the scouting on the expedition crew as part of the E in the NEEC, the expansion, the exploratory and expansion corps. You are looking to try to find new sources of food beyond what can be grown as your own. You don't want to tax your rations too much if you have to. You put up and knock on the door of the captain's quarters.
bless you.
Sorry.
There is no response.
Was the door locked?
No, it is not. It opens with ease.
Star Trek door that kind of goes psst on its own, or is it a regular door that I have to open?
No, it slides open, but it has a place where you put your hand and slide it open.
Crack it open and call out, Captain, you in here?
You wait for a moment. There's no response.
I stick my head in. Do I see the captain?
No, you do not. The cabin itself has a bunk, a desk on the side of it. It's not cramped. It's large enough to hold things, but it is still kind of this one-room fixture. You can see that the bed is unmade, and the closet door is slid open, and you can see that there are clothes missing.
An outfit's worth, or like she threw it in a trunk and took off somewhere?
Couple of outfits, maybe. A few outfits.
Quick glance around, see if there's a note on her desk or anything.
Doesn't appear to be anything on the desk.
Over the comms, I hit all the senior staff. Anybody got eyes on the captain?
Tane V. Nara. Or Tane Quentin Nara, sorry. I slipped out of the names.
We're practically the same person.
Tane Quentin Nara, you all hear the comms open up, making a request from Skippy. Nara, you've been locked in your medical bay working with your crew in Tridemus, and you haven't even stepped foot outside. Quentin, you and Tane are poring over some of the maps, and Tane, one of the groups that you have sent out, left a bit earlier than what they were scheduled to leave. They are not currently there, but that's the only odd thing you see.
No, sir, no visual thing. Just a few small difficulties out here, but nothing I think she'd be involved with.
You're cutting in that for me.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm having some weird connectivity issues, but
Come in.
Come in.
Come in. Huh?
Tane! Hey!
Hello?
Whatever.
It's also very quiet over my speaker, so I'm leaning in. And I'm old.
Hello?
Just like bring it up to your ear.
It's the comm on the wall. He's just leaning against it. What?
It's just Quentin pressing the button over and over again. That's
what
the
it
only
is.
reason
It's
you're not
like-
hearing everything properly. Sorry.
because Quentin's over there tapping the button the way that Quentin does, and Tony's like, "Stop it! I can't push the button until the whole thing comes out." I'm sorry, I keep letting off because I think you're done. You got to quit with the pauses. Oh shit, we're done. Oh shit.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
Get your finger off the button. I'll take care of it.
Whoops.
No, I mean, Tane just says over the comms that, hasn't seen the captain. There's the search crew, but...
So, report from Tane is, I haven't seen the captain.
But do you think she would have went with the group, maybe?
Did I see them when they left, or did they just leave?
No, they were already gone.
I'm just like,
okay. Is there a chance you think that she might have up and left with the search party?
Multiple outfits gone out of her closet, so it's like she packed up for a few days anyway.
Well, like, what outfits were they? Formal dinnerwear outfits, or more like day at the beach kind of outfit, or was it more like
no,
evening date, but then at night like a bowling alley to shoot craps with the which outfits? Like, just describe the exact stitching on the
Please
vests to me,
describe the
and I'll
things
be
that
able
are
to tell
missing
you.
that you haven't seen.
There was 4 empty clothing racks.
Please describe the clothing you haven't seen, but it's great. Do any
There
of
were 4
us
empty
really
figures in
have
the closet.
beachwear? Was that planned for this planet? Really?
Hey, listen, you never know.
I had not planned a
We're
beach
just gonna have a
episode.
beach episode now.
I said I haven't planned a beach episode, but
It's happening now.
Sorry.
Oh God.
So you've been asked
Atlas
to describe
has
the
it
outfits
fucking
that are
decreed that we are having a beach episode this week, ladies and gentlemen.
Whoops.
Got
It has
a
been
picture of the volleyball
decreed.
game.
Everybody describe your bathing suits.
It's, she seems more of the sensible boy short top kind of to me.
Wait, what was that? You cut out.
Said Captain seems more of a sensible boy short and crop top to me, but that's just
Yeah. I like the idea of a beach episode where it's like, instead of the girls in like cute swimsuits, like it's like the guys with like muscles everywhere, like yeah, and all the girls are like, okay, we're like sturdily dressed in our regulation swimsuits because we're going scuba diving to investigate.
it all looks like it's all the NASA like wetwear.
Yeah,
So it's
literally.
like eye collars. It's basically just like diving suits. It's basically
But all the guys
full
are like,
form.
literally, and all the guys are like, oh yeah, and the girls are like, can we please just go? Like the fishing boat's waiting. Like
Until you hit the water and realize that it's heavily salinated to the point where it's like lower the temperature. It lowers the temperature so much that it's just like
Just one single step in, and
Okay, I'll
everybody's
take the
already ready.
wetsuit now.
I have made a mistake. I can't feel anything from like here down.
And all you dipped was the toe.
That's exactly right. It was just the toe, but from here down, it's all gone. All right. So,
Terrible.
Nara, do you report back anything?
Look, Skippy, I'm gonna be honest. I haven't seen shit.
She doesn't have eyes.
Alright, I've been a little bit busy saving Nain to worry about where the fuck Marilyn wandered off to.
Marilyn. Wow.
Maybe
You guys are close.
Is that what we're
huh?
doing? We're dropping honorifics now? Is that what we're going with? That's very rude.
Fuck the captain.
No, not the captain.
Marilyn.
Marilyn.
maybe she
Table
just got herself
flip.
an alien boyfriend
Out.
we don't know about.
I adjust my settings on my comm, so I now have a senior crew members list and a senior crew members minus the doc list.
We're just not gonna ask Nara questions anymore. She comes off really,
Yeah, I
feeling
know.
really
Like every
personally
like,
attacked
fuck you, fuck your mom, fuck your kids, fuck your dog. And
Also,
you're like,
no, I
you
haven't
just, like,
seen the
sitting there,
captain. Thank you very much for asking. And at the end of that, no, I apologize. I haven't seen the captain. Thank you very much for asking.
No, I haven't seen anything, and we're just kind of
Has
sitting.
anybody got a Diet Coke?
Can you just say, eat a Snickers? You're not you when you're hungry.
To be
Yeah,
honest,
Snickers.
to
She
be
just
honest,
takes it-
she probably hasn't eaten in like 12 hours, if not more.
straight up just.
Run in there, whip an apple at her, run out. Like it's a bomb. Like
just like tossing a grenade around the
Is it an apple that you broke in half with your own 2 hands?
I split it for you. It's fine.
An apple a day keeps the
I
doctor
I just have the
Like
image
half an
of
apple
Quentin
keeps the
in
doctor
full.
5 hours.
I imagine Quentin in full rigging and gear with an apple like here, pulling it in half and going clear and throwing it around the corner like a grenade.
I end up smoking one of her fucking
One of my
her
team
brothers
in the
head by
face.
accident. It's like sorry. Just like dodging.
No, the Tridemus comes around the corner and says, "I believe there's a delivery." It's just the apple stuck to the side of his face. Just fine now.
Oh God,
You
please.
humans find to be funny. Humor.
I'm not quite sure why there was an apple being thrown, but I believe this was for you. Some concern about your current nutritional levels being shown. You humans, I did not calculate this in the affection levels that you have.
Hilariously, this is how Quentin and Nara are affectionate to each other. Humans are weird people.
Humans are weird.
No, sorry.
Tridemus agrees.
As opposed to the non-human people.
We don't know.
Ensign,
Maybe Quentin's not Quentin.
you must
Haven't
forgive
seen
me.
what
I
the
have
Stranger
not
Things
slept
history?
in about 24 hours since you came back with Nain. I don't remember the last time I actually ate. So no, I have not seen the captain, and honestly, she's really not high on my priority list to see at the moment.
Oof.
Tane comes in over the comms. Alright then.
And okay.
Speaking of which, did you two take your pills yet? For radiation sickness?
You're breaking up. Oh no.
You should say yes.
Oh, shit.
The DM would like to take a moment to say, you should probably say yes.
He knows I was in the
No,
middle.
I
Wait,
think
yes,
Quentin
we
would have
did.
done it. Quentin would have done it and been like looking at Tane, like just
If I'm not
staring at
mistaken,
him
the
until he
last
take it.
episode you called him
Tane
forward.
aggressively like
I told them to come get
aggressively,
them.
like try to eat the fucking.
Yes, I told
Alright.
them to
Like,
come
climbing.
consume them so that, they could be cured of any sort of radiation sickness.
Oh.
All right, I wasn't
Tane.
gonna take it because I want wanted superpowers, but then Quentin told superpowers I'd probably just die. So, yeah, I
The
took it.
superpower would be not living anymore, and I
Oh,
Your superpower would be
Superpower
decomposition.
not living.
Your superpower is decomposition. It's not very useful.
it's not
you,
very
anyway.
helpful on me
I mean,
mentally, emotionally.
I don't know. You know
I feel
Shigaraki
very
from
sick
Kuno Hero Academia? His whole thing is he touches stuff and it's like, and that's pretty fucking sick.
Yeah,
So,
but
like-
that would be you, not you doing the touching.
Oh, I guess.
All right. Tane Jackson comes into your crew bay area. Like, imagine it's like a bunch of bunks with like a single shower or like several shower areas. He comes out. He's got a towel on his head, just kind of draped over. Hey, look! It's a wandering kiwi.
Oh, look, in the wild, wandering dumbass. How is
That's
the
very cool.
shower? Nothing too crazy, right?
Perfect. Cold.
Okay, rock salt. Cold, all right. Fantastic, just the way I need it.
Yep.
Hey, really quick, you know anything about that search party that left early?
Yeah. Captain came by. Said, "Let's go, boys." Next thing you know, they all took off.
She say anything about where they were going?
Said she was going to go on with their expedition, and since she was there, she could take over for you. So they all took off.
All right, they bring any Quentin's mapping drones?
No, of course.
Drones or anything like that?
Yeah, of course.
All
They
right,
had
fantastic.
all the gear with them that they were supposed to have with them.
All right, well, as long as they're following protocol, don't want to lose in the game.
Yeah. All right.
Well,
I'm going to catch some shut-eye so I can take over my shift here in a little bit.
Sounds like a good idea. Sleep well. Try not to let the whatever's out there bite or something like that.
Don't hurt him. And he points over at Quentin and then climbs into the bunk.
Yeah. Hey, Q, let's go check on you as far as map.
From a muffled, you hear, yeah, that's right. That's what you're calling it these days, ain't he? And gives you a laugh and then shuts off his light.
I bet you they're not going to be thinking you're so funny when they start putting bugs in your MREs.
He doesn't answer.
All right. Shall we all?
All right. With the crew that went out that morning, chief amongst that group is Marlon.
Oh, my man's. My home slice.
Yep. He was with that group that was heading out with the captain. So you're not too concerned with them.
Okay.
Because of the fact that, he's your number 2 or 3 or whatever.
Really quick, Tane goes over comms and just a quick update on the captain situation. She did go out with that search party earlier this morning, so don't worry too much about that. She is with some of my better men, worried, but that's just where she is at the moment.
Okay, thanks for the update.
Yep.
I'll go check the smuggled chest, see if it's been messed with.
We're back on the spicy.
Smuggled chest has not been altered.
Cameras.
Yeah, it hasn't been altered or tampered with or anything.
She was probably trying to get away from the council.
Who doesn't want to get away from the council?
I mean, really, who doesn't? I made them up and I want to get away from them.
Quentin sees the council coming and he's just like, ugh! Just dodges behind something every time. He's like, I'm not dealing with that.
Was that the ensign? I do believe it was. No, it's not the ensign. It's me, Mickey Mouse.
God. We know
It's
your
me, an
voice
alien
is
Mickey
that high.
Mouse. Please leave me alone. Why else would Mickey Mouse be on the planet?
I gotta build Disneyland.
We gotta build this.
That's the true nature behind the NWC. That's where the real money comes from.
Disneyland.
With the near failure of Euro Disneyland, Michael Eisner spread his wings out further than just across the pond.
Disney World, space!
Woo! Space Mountain becomes
Like a
Literally.
full planet ride.
everything.
It's at least an hour to actually take the whole entire ride around the planet somehow.
When you stop, you're just G-force
Your
passed
like
out.
face just comes back into place.
No,
They've-
they had to tone the ride down into different sections because the G's they were pulling on the first ride were making people pass out. Just,
Nobody got to enjoy the full experience. We had to fix it.
they really outdid themselves at Euro Disney with Space Mountain, and they decided, how do you top that? Well, Space Mountain from the Earth to several thousand light years away. I guess.
there you go. All right. You do know the course where they were going to take and head out to. You also know that they have specific locations and a route that they take. They're not out for days. They're out for, at this point in time, they're out for like out and back in the same day. It's several hours to walk, but it's still, more exploratory for the area that they've unmapped at this moment. And a lot of it's done by drone, which can go a lot further out than back.
Is there a way I can tap into the drone feed, or is it too far?
You know that you would have to be within a certain distance.
Poop. I tried.
Yeah, you don't believe you're close enough at this point in time. You don't know where they are, so you don't know how long they've been gone.
That's true.
So,
It happens. That's okay.
I mean, you could take your data pad with you and try to get and tap into it.
I'm gonna go for a walk. I'll be back in about 3 hours.
That's
That was oddly specific.
And set.
Does he actually say
No.
that?
No, he wouldn't
Um,
leave. Are you kidding? He's like, I'm not going by myself. I don't know this planet. I don't know these people.
The Praetor is
No, these people.
the Praetor,
My son.
like a lost little teenager amongst a dance at the 8th grade, and he doesn't know what he's doing.
I love.
Kind of wanders over to Quentin as you exiting. Did you exit you had to try to kind of get a signal on there.
Yeah, I would probably at least walk outside.
You see him walk over to you again, that odd stilted way that someone who is unused to their legs would do.
Oh, baby.
And the voice says to you, Navigation Officer Quentin, Captain Marilyn would like to provide you with a message.
Me? Okay. Well, sure.
List of priority. Security Officer Tane.
Okay. I was like, please no.
Ensign Skippy. Actually, he would call you Ensign Gene.
That's right.
That's true. Sinji.
Medical Officer Nara.
Wait, Ensign
Science
who? Sorry? No, I'm
Officer
kidding.
Nain. Navigational Officer Quentin.
Baby at the bottom of the list. Okay.
None
okay.
of the others have been located. You were the first to have been seen.
Oh, okay.
Aw.
Thanks, Praetor buddy.
You are quite welcome.
What are you? What was? Is that? That's the message. That's it.
No.
Okay.
The message goes, Strange dreams have kept me awake. I have gone with the exploratory crew to clear my mind and to see the rest of the area.
Okay. That's. Okay.
He's-
I'll
He steps a little awkwardly close.
Okay. It's just like.
Navigational Officer Quentin, is this normal for people to leave for some extended periods of time?
Sometime everybody needs time to themselves, I guess. Sometimes Everybody. That sounds stuffed. Ooh.
She did not appear to be of a restful sort. She seemed to be concerned. Given the facial expressions that I have seen all of you commit, I would say that she was appearing worried. Studying the mask of the human face and the shape that it has.
Did she say anything else, Prater?
No. Was she supposed to?
No, no. I was just maybe not part of the message, but she said something else.
The head tilts. Again, it's just this blank mask. There's nothing on it. But the head tilts. I am not sure that I understand.
She left a message specifically.
Yes, I have provided you the message. Would you like for me to repeat the message?
No. It's okay, but did she say anything else before or after the message that you logged in that big old brain of yours?
Oh.
Ah, Praetor, come here. Retain this message.
Okay.
Thank you, Praetor. You may go.
Okay. I'll go back inside and I'll say thanks, Praetor, and I'll be like, you go now, I guess. And then I'll go back. I just feel bad leaving him standing there. It's like, you don't need to stand. Okay. Bye.
Okay.
Okay. And then I'll go back inside and robot child.
Yeah.
Sweet baby boy.
I'm not ready for parenthood.
I'm not ready to be a dad.
I can't raise this baby. Little robot baby.
The reason we get nothing accomplished. We've been here for months. We've barely planted any crops. Everybody's been hanging around the little boy.
The little robot baby, taking care of the precious boy. The colony son. Everybody's a parent now. Everybody's
I've only had the Praetor for 2.5 days, but if anything happened to him, I would kill everyone in the room and then myself.
Perfect. That's
all right. So you start heading back.
Yeah, I'll head back inside.
There is a metallic clunk, 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 clunk behind you.
I'll look over my shoulder. How close is the Praetor?
I mean, he's not like right on your back,
Okay.
but he's following you at a distance.
Oh. Praetor, do you want to come with me?
Am I supposed to stay here?
No, well, no. I guess you're your own robot. You can do whatever as long as it's not. How about you come inside and tell the message to Tane, because he's first on the list, right?
Certainly.
Okay.
And he goes ahead of you, like, into the building.
It's just like watching him walk in front of me.
Ta-
Oh. Okay.
The door to the forward area for where your crew sits opens, and in walks the metallic body of the Praetor.
Can I make a little thing here? I think probably if Tane like saw Quentin walk outside to do this thing with his thing, he time to like smoke, and so he's like standing there, and like as soon as the door opens, he like throws the cigarette on the ground and like tries to like walk really in convict direction. He's like power walking. He's like, oh hey,
This implacid metal shell just kind of looks at you, looks down, looks back up, and goes, Surgeon General warns that is bad for your health.
Yeah. Anyways, why are you here?
I have a message to provide.
All right, out with it.
Captain Maryland would like to let you know that she has gone on an expedition with the rest of the exploratory crew. Strange dreams have haunted her, she says. I am paraphrasing. I am told that is to add more humanity to me.
Oh, God, that's so cute. Fuck. It's really hard to stay in character as Beefy Muscle Dude when everything makes you want to be like, oh!
Like, that's my baby! Quentin walks in, just sees Tane like, precious son! Precious son!
He immediately turns around and walks back the fuck out.
No.
Tane's just like dumbfounded, like, oh god, it's a baby.
It's a baby. Surprised
I think
Tane
Tane's
heard
a
that.
dog person, Prater, and sees him as a puppy. Oh god, I'm not ready for this. Alright, very well. It's good. I did know she went off, thanks to my compatriot back there. But appreciate the message, Prater.
I apologize
get
for
a
my
chance-
tardiness in locating you. I was not sure or aware of where you were. Unfortunately, I am not tapped into this system the way that I was when the ship was a whole unit.
That is quite
That's
alright.
true.
Seem
It's
to
all
be
on
doing
purpose.
just fine. So, thanks. I do believe I have relayed most of that to the rest of the crew, but it might be worth telling her about those dreams the captain was having. I know she's a little tied up with a science officer right now, but it could be worth mentioning, just in case she has something for it.
Certainly. I will inform her now. And he turns and leaves without, like, no goodbye, just and out the door he
Almost
goes.
fucking slams into me. Great.
Boy, it was good talking to you. All right. Did
Oh.
Did he do that to you too? Like, just kind of, like, whatever.
Okay.
You are deep in thought and standing in the opposite, not on the opposite side of the room, just watching you quietly in the corner, but being there to offer his services. The Tridemus is there working with your crew and asking questions as they would, Nara, but I mean, he's there in your, not your office, but there in your workstation and work area, quietly offering up advice or you know, is there anything that I may help you with?
No, I think a lot of this is just involved in dealing with tests and waiting for results to come back.
I understand. It seems to be putting a strain on you.
Well, as I told the ensign, I haven't slept in 24 hours. I don't remember the last time I ate, and there is still more work to be done, so that won't be happening anytime soon.
Well, while I am not intimately familiar with your race, I have studied enough to know that sleep and sustenance are quite necessary. I would suggest that maybe you should delegate some of your tasks to your crew and staff and maybe get some rest and something to eat, lest you find yourself on a table next to your science officer.
Yes, well, I have delegated everything that can be delegated. The rest of my team is working on something else that is of equal importance in case a resurgence occurs that you were not here for.
I understand.
So, unfortunately, I am as staffed as I'm going to be until we get more people trained in the medical field, and so this falls to me.
I understand. Well then, I'll be back momentarily. And he turns to leave, and you hear the sound of his feet on the floor leaving. Maybe 3 or 4 minutes later, you hear the sound of him entering again. You turn to look, but it is not Tridemus. Instead, it is Prater, standing there again. That just kind of metal shell of a face, no actual eyes, nose, nothing. It's just this screen.
He needs a face. It's terrifying.
I just imagine
Magic
Tane
marker.
and Quinn like gluing googly eyes on him now.
Drawing a
It
mouth
was-
and a
I
nose.
was, you have no idea, because literally, like when you were when he was talking to Quentin, in my head I was like, okay, Tane would absolutely just take a magic marker and just
It's just like a little like
like
fucking
he would.
three
It's-
mouth.
Constantly walking
All
around.
This is really wicked me at.
I mean,
I'm
that
just
would be
waiting for
terrifying
Tommy and
as
Quentin
well.
to do that to him, and then just watching them stand back and look at him and Quentin go, Prater, do this.
True artistry, Tane. Beautiful. Mwah. Absolutely beautiful. These
The Prater says,
Masters of Chaos.
Who's the children of this colony? Sorry.
really?
Not the actual children, that's for sure.
I'll fight a kid.
Medical officer, Kalanara.
Yes, Praetor.
I was
can I do
asked
for
to
you?
find you because of a message that was left to me by Captain Marilyn. It seems as though Quentin and Tane believe that there might be some distress that you might be interested in knowing.
Oh, more. Lay it on me.
Unfortunately, it is not a physical item.
That is a figure of speech.
Noted. I have had some strange dreams as of late. I have gone out with the exploratory crew, clear my head, and investigate the area around us.
Okay. Nara's gonna go over to the captain's medical file. Is going to note, is having strange dreams, chooses to go out with the exploratory crew instead of talking to me first. Make note to talk to Captain about this when she returns. Is that everything?
She did say, Praetor, come here, take a message, and then also said, thank you, Praetor. I then reported it to Quentin, even though Navigational Officer Quentin was not the first person on the list, nor were you. Tane, the security officer, was the first person on the list, but I was unable to locate him at that time. Whenever Quentin told me where he was at, I located Tane and explained to him the situation. I
Okay.
paraphrased because
Okay.
that's supposed to
Okay.
show more humanity. And then Tane said that I should come and speak to you because the dreams might be concerning and something that you may be interested in. I have yet to find the ensign, for he is also on the list.
Right.
Doing so well. I'm so proud of him.
Okay.
You know how hard that is to do with a straight face.
Okay. That's all well and good. Thank you, Praetor. Can you see that the kitchen sends a buffet of food over to the medical bay, please?
Certainly.
I know I haven't eaten, and I can guarantee the rest of my staff hasn't eaten, so
Certainly.
thank you.
You are quite welcome. And he turns and leaves the area. Robots are going amok. They're both out of your eyesight. Pandemonium! Skippy. The
Yes.
Praetor, where are you at right now? Are you still in the captain's quarters or are you at your own? Where are you?
Snooping through her stuff.
I went to
What's
check
in
on
this
the crate.
drawer?
I went to whatever be to access the cameras me and Nane put up around the crate.
Okay, probably be in his office. You see his crew milling about. Not all of them. Most of them are helping Nara's crew in whatever way they can. But there's a few of them that are kind of, milling about, trying to make themselves busy. Some of them are working on some of the farming equipment. Others are working on some other devices that are supposed to be like a quality of life kind of things. As you walk in, several of them jump and kind of like move over to you asking about how Nane is doing. Do you have any word? Is he okay? Is he going to live? All sorts of those sorts of questions.
He is stable for the moment. Been working on this for a day. It's going to take a little time. Who here is not currently working on a project?
Okay, yeah. And they salute appropriately and then wander off to work on their projects.
Fatty doesn't seem to have a project to work on.
There is there's one or two guys that are kind of. One guy in particular looks like he's rearranged his tools and his those big tool chests, like the mechanics have, where they're like really tall and they have a bunch of drawers in them. It looks like he's rearranged the drawers a couple times in the time that you've been there answering questions and talking.
Step over and talk to him.
He has a badge on just like the rest of them, and it marks his name as Benjamin Wyatt. He is probably about 5'10", dark curly hair that fits tight to his head. You can tell he's used to having a fade, and it's kind of gone a little bit at the edges. Skin is kind of caramel colored, a little darker than that, like a nice mocha colored skin. And as you walk up, his eyes are almost yellow green, and he looks at you. Sir, and he kind of snaps too.
I had a question. While we were gone, you had a hailstorm of like ice shards.
Yes, sir.
They damaged the.
Most of it was superficial, sir.
Okay.
It was easily repaired. We took to it, and it seemed to slice them real easy, though.
Anyway, anything you come up with, whether a new material or a design, we could roof the buildings with that would prevent that.
We could probably look at the materials we have around us and see what we can come up with the natural plant life around here. But with all of our, with a lot of our staff being pulled off, all you have over here are mostly engineers and guys like that. I couldn't tell you the chemical makeup of some of these things, but I could calculate the density of it if I could tell, if I had the right machines to measure it.
Do we have those kind of machines?
I mean, yeah, it's just calipers and weights and scales, nothing fancy.
If you don't have anything else to do until Nain gets back and reassigns or whatever.
Yeah, I'd be happy to do something other than just stand here and rearrange this things. I'll get right on it.
Start checking the plant life. Because they've survived this sort of weather before.
True.
Made out of, or whatever they make themselves out of, maybe resistant.
That's a good point. All right, yeah, I can look into that. He seems to be eager to take on a task that isn't standing there rearranging his tools.
I've given him something to do then. Find us some building material that will resist that crap.
Yep, and he's set off on his way to gather several control and a few variable to start doing science. Actual science with a hypothesis.
He's not leaking any of this stuff. I don't think he knows what he's doing.
What the fuck? Real science? That is not what science officer Nain would have wanted.
Are we sure this guy is part of the science team here?
All of Nain's SOP, standard operating procedures, are written in crayon. He doesn't even create new ones. He just scratches one out and says, whatever, I don't know, guess. One of the SOPs just a picture of him going.
It's the scene from Parks and Rec. Like, one of his fellow science people comes up to him and he's like, sorry, Officer Nain, I know it's not really my place to question your work, but like, that's okay. Are you sure that's according to regulation? And Nain's like, not to worry, I have a permit, and hands him a piece of paper.
Says I can do whatever I want.
Guy opens whatever I want.
That's like,
can't argue the facts. Have fun.
I just imagine that a lot of Nain is just John Travolta looking around.
That looks sciencey. Let's go touch that.
Nain science is just John Travolta walking in coat. All right.
Here we love and respect Nain, but he's also
We do
not here.
love Pelka. We absolutely love him.
Oh, we love him. We're just insulting him because he's not here to fight
Defend
back.
himself.
But we would do it even if he was here. So
That's
hey,
you're
there's
not
that.
wrong.
Yeah, that's fair.
I've got to point this out because it just clicked in my head. You're wearing Freddy Krueger's sweatshirt over there.
Oh, sorry, I'm a dream eater.
Oh.
This is my life. I saw it and I'm just like,
coming
that's gonna be
for
mine.
you.
Just imagine Quentin running through the vents in like a Freddy sweater.
Happy Halloween, everyone!
I'm gonna haunt your dreams. Just fucking bolts off.
Get away from me, tiny navigator.
Tiny grandma navigator boy. Ah! People just are like,
You got,
what is he?
it's the scene from Spaceballs. You got to try to swipe somebody. They just have their hand on your head, holding you away. It's like... All right.
Okay, sorry.
Wednesday is not really focused. It's just us playing the game.
Oh no! How
It's
dare we have
character
fun?
development.
What the fuck?
It's
Are we
fine.
doing this?
You're not allowed to have fun. This is serious business.
Uh-oh.
Take Maddie.
Oh, thank
for
God!
example.
I really thought we were gonna have some fun, and I got really fucking worried.
Actually, I'm gonna be honest.
Okay.
I managed to get my art program up and working on my second monitor.
I saw the
Fuck
glove.
yeah.
Anybody who has a tablet knows that glove is very handy.
So that's
Yep,
what
and
I've
I
been
still don't
doing.
have one.
I'm kind of drawing one of those it's like a futuristic lounge room that I will share with everybody after.
Oh.
All right.
Sexy.
Skippy, you are in the science bay. You are looking around. This is now turned into the power core for the entire colony. So this is now the... this is something that Jason and I will get. This is now the TVA center. This is Joe Wheeler right here. All right. Looking around, what would you like to do? You've assigned Ben Wyatt a job.
I have
He'll spend a little time familiarizing himself with how they've got everything set up.
Okay.
Uh,
The power.
have they run lines? Is it underground?
A lot of it seems to be not really your forte. Not really sure, but we're gonna do a little history lesson, folks. Does anybody remember who Nikola Tesla is?
My bitch.
Nikola Tesla had a way of delivering power safely and securely through towers, not on power lines. Does anybody remember this? There was one that was actually built, and it was supposed to be powering New York City, or at least a small borough of New York City. Does anybody remember that?
I remember he was building one in that one facility, but I don't know if he ever got it really going.
You are correct. He never got off of the ground because of
Members of the place would complain about their lights turning on in the middle of the night.
because they would be so much power. It's very similar to Nikola Tesla's model.
Broadcast power. Okay, sweet.
So there we go.
That means we ain't got to worry about ice shards taking out power.
The oat mill who raised money to buy the land that it was being built on so that he can open up the Nikola Tesla Museum.
I just want to.
They tore down the tower in World War II.
That I couldn't tell you. I don't remember.
Target for subs or something. You know, they'd be able to tell where they're at.
I'd just like to bring something up really quick, which is that we're
On the
out here.
screen,
We're out here making fucking Parks and Rec jokes. You named the NPC Ben Wyatt, like the guy from Parks and Rec.
Thank you for catching that.
It took me a second. I'm like, is that actually what his name was? I haven't watched Parks and
You went
Parks-
IMDb that, didn't you? You could have just asked me, wait, isn't that the guy from? And I would have been like,
Then I'd look stupid if I was wrong. So I wasn't gonna pull that shit.
nah.
Even though I'm pretty good at looking stupid.
Okay, so I have cams for everybody, but Atlas's is frozen.
Yeah, I'm trying to reconnect.
But we do have cams for everybody. Yay!
Atlas seems to be like buffering.
Hair matches her sweater. Sweet.
I know, it's awesome, isn't it?
I'm just gonna dye one half of my hair. Is it green? Is this supposed to
It
be
looks
green?
green to me, I would say.
I think it is green. I say as I just blind
green.
myself and everybody.
You can blind yourself.
My
Fuck my
eyeballs are
eyes.
burning.
All
Green.
right.
It was a little black at first, but yeah.
It's one of those things. Is this dress blue or?
No,
Wait,
no,
blue and yellow or
no,
black and blue?
no.
I'm bringing it up. It's both. That's the real topic.
All right.
Sorry.
So, looking around, you can see that they have the power core is separate from the actual the engineering bay and things that they use. You can see that they've repurposed a lot of the ship that wasn't modular to basically craft other items. You can see them, like I said, making small things here and there. Most of it's quality of life things. One of the simplest things you can see is on a drawing board. One of the guys made the trash can where you can step on the pedal and the lid opens because they hadn't put one of those on. And so there's a picture of it, and it's a kind of a joke. You can kind of tell that they're all. It's like the most developed thing that they had to begin with. Not the ship, the trash can where you can step on the pedal. Ah, sorry, my nose itches. Anyways, so you can see several of them have other projects that are laying out. And they have blueprint schematics. You can see different designs and things like that. You can also see a couple of them that appear to be like a work order sort of thing, with the names of some of the council, especially Henson and Park. We all love Park. We all love her. She's that
one.
Yep. Say what?
So what are they working on for these people?
Henson seems to be a redesign of some of the farming implements to make them. It's not earth soil. It's different properties to it. You can see he's working on a tilling design that's supposed to help anchor the rear point to it so that it actually drives the ground forward and up and out as opposed to just out to the side. And also to how to kind of work better with the soil that they have. For Park, it seems like they're working on some sleep device, like something that's supposed to help induce your theta waves, which are actually like where all of your imaginations, your ideas, your thinking comes from. Is an increase in theta waves while you sleep. You see kind of it's in like a slip sheet that you can do dry erase on, and you can see that he's written in there pseudoscience garbage at the top of it.
Me.
He's like, whatever.
Oh man.
But
to be honest, let's be honest, Nane probably would have done the same thing.
Is there a
He
dry
would
erase
probably
marker
looked at him and went, "Pfft." What's that?
for handy?
Once again, I am just losing the first bit of what you say.
Is there a dry erase marker handy?
Yes.
I put a line through it and write low priority out behind it. I go through and I check and I make sure the other stuff is actually going to be useful for the colony.
Mm-hmm. There is the property of the wood around here seems to be a lot denser, like hammering into hardwood back home, but like even more so. and these guys are working on a design to help strip down and harvest that with a much more ease than what they have. You see one of the guys is designing a replacement for, like, he's the building materials that you use. Remember, some that were lost in the storm, and he's actually redesigning the buildings with the material that they have, so they don't have to harvest as much, and they can still produce the buildings, the housing, and everything that they need off of a smaller amount of resources. Pretty good. I mean, you know. Some of the other designs are, like I said, quality of life. Some of them are like, that actually would be good, if nothing more than to boost morale. Others are kind of like, sure, we could have it. You know, we could take it or leave it.
As the thinking cap thing she was having to work on.
That, yeah, the rest of them, there's a couple that might be close to that, but no, that's like, yeah, like you arrange things by priority as they need be. All right, there's only about like 7 projects that are listed out, and he has teams that the names on there don't mean anything to you, but he has teams assigned to different projects. All right, and his office is sitting in the back area, and currently it's looking out on the engineering bay, the same kind of way with the glass that kind of comes like that.
An office he had before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's the same office.
Same office. Yeah.
Say that again. I'm sorry.
Making sure it was the same office he had before.
Oh, yeah. It's the same one.
I go check the monitors, make sure nobody has messed with the crate. You said it didn't look like it interfered. I'm just going to do a quick run through and make sure that nobody's wandered around it or anything.
Sure. You can see people moving in and around it, but they don't seem to be like, it's not the focus of their attention. They're actually moving to get something or, you know, direct people to grab other objects and things like that. But it's undisturbed by anyone.
How far ahead we are of all the other ships?
You're not sure. You could probably have one, you know, based off what you had.
You cut out on me.
I said you're not sure. You could probably try to calculate based off of what these guys have, but you're not.
Authorities with the smuggling, but frankly, he doesn't like or trust the current authorities.
The current authority is Tane. Your current authority is a gigantic kiwi clown.
Excuse you, he's clearly a magician. Nothing is clowns. Do you want to see the sick card trick where I drop the cards all over the floor? Because I'm really good at that.
All right. So, yeah, you can see that it has not been tested with at all.
What can the ensign do that would be useful for the colony at the moment?
Die! No. Oh, God.
You said me and the captain were supposed to be having meetings today.
Yep.
The dip.
It's the meetings were more. You were there for show. That's not really the right word. It is not essential for you or the captain to attend.
It's a formality.
It would make it's very formality. It would make a good show of faith or face, but if you didn't attend, the only person that would probably be upset is Ms. Park. So
Yeah, but I don't trust him with that. Somebody keeping an eye on him. Whatever the meeting is supposed to be about. Do me and the captain have an office?
Not really. I mean, you kind of met in her cabin because that's where she has a desk and everything there. But most of the time, it's just you guys wherever you kind of set up.
In the colony network together still, like they were on the Praetor.
Say that one more time.
Network together like they were on the Praetor.
I heard network together like they were on the Praetor. Nope. Still lost just that like first part of your words.
I'll type it.
There we go.
Okay. Uh-oh.
Well.
Yes. Yes, they are.
I'll use Nate's office then. Get ready for those meetings.
Okay. You pop down in the Nane's office and start reading through the agenda, which you can tell whoever arranged this thinks very highly of themselves. You know who.
Park.
It's like fucking Timmy Turner's dad. Dink.
Nara.
Yep.
About 25 minutes have passed by, and you hear the doors to the outside of the bay open, and you hear the very familiar footfalls of robots walking in. Followed by the sound of other people. As you kind of glance up, there's a glass. You can see the Tridemus is holding a tray, and on the tray is several different foodstuffs, but it's like all pick up and eat. Quickly pick up and eat.
Mm-hmm.
So there's almonds, there's apple slices, there's cheese cubes, there's other things that you can just quickly pick up and eat. And he walks in and then sets the tray down by you. Doesn't say anything. He just sets it near you and then turns and leaves.
All right, then.
Looking at it from the medical point of view, from what you look at, it is proteins, good fats, fiber, and natural sugars and carbohydrates. So like all plant-based carbs and sugars and fiber, and then high protein content in the almonds and the cheese. So it's like he can tell what he put on the tray was specifically designed for you to be easy to eat and, sufficiently nutritious to keep you from being hungry for a long period of time.
Yeah.
He walks back out, and you can see he and the Praetor and the people that came in are setting out food trays for the other staff members.
She's gonna stick her head out and request Paul.
Okay. He kind of leans back from his chair, looking over at you. His mouth. Yes, ma'am.
I'm going to go lay down for an hour.
Yes, ma'am.
If you do not wake me up in an hour, I will demote you to cleaning crew.
Jesus.
Not a problem.
Christ.
Prater, set an alarm for 1 hour. Sorry, I couldn't resist.
I get the Praetor to do it in case she fucking swings when she wakes up.
Within the first 5 seconds of waking up, you are not responsible for any actions that happen.
That's an interesting theory.
All right. So you go to lay down.
Yeah, I'm gonna snack on something for a bit, but then I'm gonna go take a nap in my chair in my office.
God, that's gonna hurt later.
Yeah.
You have beds in your office, Snar.
No, not in my office.
Not in her office, but in the medical bay. Yeah.
You could just drag one of those like shitty plastic mattresses and
Just one of those little chairs that folds out that you sleep on in the hospital.
Yeah.
I mean, could, but she would rather just sleep with her head down on her desk.
All right, so you are...
Because she's not really sleeping, she's napping. So she doesn't want to be super comfortable because she knows for a fact he will not be able to wake her up until she slept herself out.
Mm-hmm. Well, he is going to do his best. Although he feels like he just signed up for being demoted. All right, so you are napping. Skippy, you are getting ready for the meeting, which is probably in the next 20 minutes or so. Tane and Quentin, what are you doing? Are you trying to find out where the signal...
I mean, if I can without going too far out, I would like to try and pinpoint where they are currently, but...
Okay. Give me a science roll. No. Electronics. Sorry. Wrong character.
Do I get any sort of modifier?
No.
Okay.
Okay. You knowing where they are on the map and knowing the rate, because you have a survey map and you know at least of the area that you've been to. You know how far out they were supposed to go. You would have to walk pretty far into the forest as it is to try to get to their enough distance or enough range between you and the drone.
Just like absent-mindedly walking through the trees, staring at my data pad.
Just like do. What the fuck?
How did I get
Where
this
am I?
far?
And you may ask yourself, how did I get here?
And knowing Quentin, he would look up and then turn 360 and then turn back like 90 and then turn 180 and then go, shit.
Yeah, actually, for somebody who's good with maps, his sense of direction was probably like...
No, he's great as long as he has a map, right?
Yeah, he's just like sitting here like, shit.
There's this rangy voice. What the distance here? Honey!
Hello?
Honey!
Tana's just like sitting in the back. I knew following him was going to be a smart idea. Coming
Tana,
through the
like,
tree.
sneezes 4 times. Someone's calling for me. What the fuck?
What are you kidding me?
It's
You know
just
you were
lost in the
following him as he's
trees.
walking his data pad, just going, this useless. He's going to get lost.
Except Tane also gets himself lost.
Wait,
both
Tane like watches Quentin walking away, like, guys, I need like 2-3 of you, come here. And then he's like, all right, let's see how long it takes for him to realize he's getting lost. And they're like following him.
Such a
He's like, see, that is. John was right. It was about 15 minutes.
I like how mean.
Tana hears this, like Quentin hears the snickering, and he's like, "This fucking why are there 4 of you? What?"
I was standing here calling, and they just turn you around like you like 15 feet, and you're out of the woods.
Oh, I just said that. Oh.
All right. Are you going to try to get close enough to see if you can get in range of the device?
Oh man.
Like to try.
Alright.
Yes.
Ugh. Quentin is such a useless gay.
It takes you.
So much.
It
He's
takes
doing
you.
his best. Fight me.
You do wander into the wood. Looking at your data pad, though, you knew how far you had to range in, but for some reason the range of the drone is actually a lot closer than what you thought it should be. Especially given the time that they left to the time that it is now, and how far they would have been able to get.
Now,
Uh-oh.
Tane has shown himself, right?
Am I actually there? Because I
Do
feel
you
like
tell
Tane
me?
would definitely. Yeah,
Are you going?
yeah.
Yeah.
Tane would follow. If not,
Not gonna leave his boy alone.
yeah.
All right.
I mean, he'd probably catch up to him at some point. Be like, "Hey, I followed because I figured you'd be." If I didn't.
I figured you'd trip. Maybe knock yourself out on a branch or something.
You hear a
Well,
snapping twig. He panics and runs. It's Tane. The whole he just runs right
Takes
into
off.
it.
Tane's just like, I'll catch up. You know I will. Just stop.
He's run 20
it
feet. And he's
follows,
got,
but
wait.
it's.
All right. Are you? So you're going with?
Listen, cute. I love you, but we both know that if you were just gonna wander out into the woods on your own, you would last for 15 minutes.
Well, that
Hello?
seems like a challenge. No,
it's really not. Don't, please, for the love of God.
All right. Did you go in with? Did you go in behind?
just like scare him.
Atlas
Yeah,
and Tane go in.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
would probably make it himself known. I don't think he'd like intentionally scare the
I mean,
shit
it's
out of Quentin.
it's not like oh, I'm in the woods and it worked. You had to walk a pretty good distance, you know.
Yeah,
Um,
but they're
You're
still
probab-
closer than.
you're
what it
probably about you're probably about almost an hour in, and you pick up the signal.
Oh. And they're a lot closer than like what we would have.
Like, given the time that you kind of estimate that they left, the distance that they could walk, especially since they're built for this,
Yeah.
and the area that they were to range out to, you kind of would have expected them to be a lot further out for you to pick up the signal than what you're actually picking it up at.
Oh. Well, they're.
So you recognize that it's currently telling you that it is at its home position of 0,0, which would mean that the range, the base unit, whatever data pad or whatever it is that's controlling it at this point in time, it is at where that is at. In other words, it's not flying away from it. For those of you who aren't familiar with drones, they have a return to home function. The home is always marked as 0,0. And then you calibrate that based off of the drone. You can actually program it to be an actual coordinate, but generally you do 0,0 because that it returns to your base unit, which is targeted as 0,0. So
Okay. Can I access like the feed
I'm a
at all,
teacher.
or just the location?
It's more like you can get control of it, but you
Okay.
wouldn't be able to like tell where it's at.
I don't want to take control of it. They're probably going to worry about it at that point.
Yeah, they're all just sitting there having a snack. All of a sudden, the drone goes.
Just fucking takes off.
Ah!
This is mine. I'm taking it back.
You hear gunfire just randomly in the woods. All right.
The signal goes down. Oh.
Again, you can range out further if you would like to, because it is currently, like you said, it's sitting still. Systems on it it's dormant. In other words, it's just not powered on. It's just sitting there.
Okay. Well, we probably shouldn't walk out farther than what we have because Tanya probably don't have anything with us. I just
I
wandered
mean,
off,
I have
like-
my guns, but that's it. Oh! I mean, I have these guns, but also my real guns.
Just Quentin stares at him lovingly, like I've fallen in love with an idiot. Very lovable idiot.
Fucking dumbass. I can't believe Quentin's a morosexual. What color is the Pink Panther? Tana, you fucking idiot.
All right, so you're heading back then?
We should probably head back. Yes.
Okay, it's a little concerning that it's just in there, but then again,
Moving-
like I
well,
said,
okay, maybe I'll look at Tane and say, should we? It's not moving, and they're not as far out as we probably would have thought. Should we go and check on them? Just the two of us?
Do we still have comm connections?
to what? To them?
To Nane, or not Nane, I'm sorry, Skippy or
and
like
Nara.
Nara.
To the
Nara's
colony?
good.
Yeah. You still have you still have comms to the
Okay.
colony.
Well then yeah, I mean I say we go on ahead. Yo, let's keep going. I've got
Oh. Mhm.
in case something gets bad, but I mean if something happened to them, I feel like we should be out there as soon as possible.
Should we take more people? Quentin doesn't know the protocols or anything. Do we need?
Are there protocols for this? Like he's the head of security. Like
I don't know. Are there?
I feel like this is not my call. I feel like
It's your division.
You're the security officer.
It is absolutely your call.
Like, do you really want me as your backup with a gun? That's the question, actually. Do you really want me as your?
I just hear Quentin yelling, "Suppressing fire!"
Oh my god, Quentin is fucking Cyril Figgis.
I don't know what that means, but it sounds
You never
bad.
seen
I
Archer?
don't like it.
You've never seen Archer?
Have you seen Archer?
No.
Oh, we gotta rectify that, V.
Uh-oh.
It's a fantastic. You would love it.
But so all right. That's an excellent point.
What about your sleeping friend?
What?
The
Oh,
one that came out of the shower. Quentin didn't really look. Quentin was like this hearing somebody come out of the shower. So
it's all right. You can call him my hot friend. He is the hottest one in the group. We had a vote. We all decided. It was at a party. We totally.
I mean,
we
Quentin would say otherwise, but
Well, that's because he has biases. But yeah. Shit. He was trying to get some rest, but I mean, if we radio it and have them
I mean, how
come
long
and meet
would-
us out here, we've been out for
an hour? Yeah,
About an hour. About an
Alright
hour.
then. Okay, well then, yeah, that's enough time to get a bit of a nap in. I mean, it's not.
Well, I mean, it's since you
them.
met him to now, it's been like a few hours. It's not. I mean, it's been like 4 hours since you first saw him.
So
come
not
out.
enough for a full night's rest, but definitely enough that if I woke him up now and told him it was urgent, then
He's a Marine.
probably
He would
be
function
okay,
just fine.
yeah, he'll be fine. Yeah, no, he'll be fine. I'll radio back to those folks and have them all come meet us out here.
Okay, while that's going on, Skippy, you are in your meeting. That is exactly it right there. It's just that.
Just like
Continue.
You are struggling. And I mean, you are just straight up struggling.
Oh,
I need you to give me a social roll, please.
Like make a
on your
little
character
old
sheet.
Oh my.
It's not good. It's not good.
No, it is not a good thing.
what is your social?
Oh, it's a 3? I forgot.
Oh, what?
Oh,
It's
yeah.
worse than Quentin.
Is there a skill that factors into this? Or is it the straight stat roll?
You know, I'll let you use Jack of all trades for this. Which Jack of all trades for him is pretty good.
yeah.
Okay, so you're not as intimately familiar with the social niceties that go into these sorts of formalities, but you've been hanging around the captain for the last several. You've kind of picked up on it. And you avoid making any faux pas that might put people off their feed, as it were, but you are definitely just like draining one carafe after another trying to stay awake to the point where you have to excuse yourself at one point in time because you are this full of coffee and this full of pee. So on your way back in, you see Gene, Mr. Henson, the guy who works the farmlands.
He's got Kermit the Frog with him. It's all just a really nice.
No, stop it. He asks you how you're holding up. He asks about the captain.
I'm holding up all right.
Oh. Thought it was interesting.
Captain went out this morning with one of the scouting crews. She wanted to get a look around.
I'd do whatever I could to get out of this damn meeting too, I tell you.
That may have been part of it too.
Well, listen, me and some of the guys over in the working crew, we had some extra veggies and more specifically, we had some extra fruit, and we were thinking, you don't want that to go bad, but it sure does ferment well. So if you'd like to maybe knock out after this and head over and have a drink with us, what do you say there?
Yes.
All right. And he gives you a good, pat on the arm and heads out. I just, knowing this character and like what he looks like and everything because of the face claims and everything that I laid out, just this guy is just a good boy, just a good old feller.
I love him.
Damn it! Now I've got the Dukes of Hazzard fucking theme song stuck in my head. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Thanks for that.
You're welcome.
Now I have something to inspire me so I can power through this meeting.
Absolutely.
All right.
Take a point of inspiration.
Take a point of inspiration. Let's see here. All right. The rest of the meeting rolls on. Lunch is served in there at the table. It's mundane, but you can see how the conversation is all about priority of needs and things like that. There's a lot of conversation about striking up a new cultural foundation or preserving the old one, which really there's only one person who seems to be really interested in that. You can know who that is. There is a lot of conversation about, again, like I said, prioritizing work. They all agree that making sure that the food is plentiful, but with you guys cutting your trip time, you actually have a surplus.
Spicy.
I need to find. There he is. That's right, Gerald. That's not Gene. It was Gerald. Jerry Henson.
And I've lost the other two.
Okay, you lost me.
Nope. Nope.
Oh, Smile Crib, no!
Okay. All right.
Oh, I got Jason, and now I've lost Atlas.
Yep. No,
Jerry was his name, not Gene. Jerry. He kind of winks, and you can see he and Yamal have a kindred spirit, and they have a lot of conversation. They work well together. You can see that. As a matter of fact, looking around the room, you can see that pretty much everybody really works well together, including Lolly, which she kind of strikes you as being a bit out there, but she's not dumb. But you're not sure if it's an act or what. But there's every once in a while she makes comments or statements that make you kind of quirk your eyebrow up. But there's something about her the way she acts that you wonder if some of it isn't an act. The meeting drolls on for a few more hours. It's probably right around lunchtime. Jerry sits his fork down there and looks at the meal that was brought in. He goes, I need to stretch my legs. I'm going to step out for a minute. Jamal? Ensign? You want to join me? And he kind of stands up, and Jamal pushes away from the table and stands up. Nara, you have eaten and you have rested. There is a hard knock on the door frame.
Okay. Time to get back at it. I got a life to save.
Did you get enough rest? You look still kind of tired.
Well, I'm going to perpetually look tired until Nain is awake.
I know you have this responsibility and things, but I mean, he's in the cryo chamber. He's not going anywhere. Tritimus has already proven that it's slowed everything down to the point where it's not spreading anymore. You should try to get more than just an hour of sleep.
I appreciate the concern, but an hour is fine. Matter of fact, hour is more than what I got most of the time doing my medical degree, so...
We're just... Understand, Doctor, that we're concerned, about decision-making while under poor rest.
I appreciate your concern. I haven't beaten anybody up yet, so my decision-making is on the level.
True. And on that note, I'm going to leave. Because I don't want to be first. And Paul's like, and out the door he goes.
She wouldn't beat up Paul.
He's a sweetheart.
He's her right-hand man.
It is.
Yep. All right. Tane and Quentin. You guys step off of the path out back into the colony area and make a beeline towards the Marine bunk, the security office. Jackson is in his bunk sleeping.
I slap him awake. Wake up! All right, up!
They're gonna jump on the bed.
He doesn't do anything. There's this moment where he kind of like flops the blanket over and his bare ass is sitting there. And it's just so silent. You just hear this. He then fans the blanket at you.
Absolutely ridiculous.
You hear this. And then he pulls the pillow. He pulls the pillow up.
Oh my god. Jesus Christ. How do I respond to that? Oh my god. Fucking Tane rips the blanket off. Hey, Quentin.
That'll be good. This better be so good.
Oh, don't worry. It's good. And by good, I mean bad. Get some clothes on. Are you seriously... Curiosity, are you seriously sleeping in the communal bunk room with no clothes on? Like, do you... Like, I know you were raised by a fucking idiot and then in Australia, but, like, really? Alright, anyway.
He jumps off the bed,
the...
gives you one of those Adonis moves.
Oh.
He goes, of course I am. I wouldn't enjoy looking at this.
Nobody wants to see that, Jackson. Absolutely
Hey.
nobody.
Hey, Quentin, what do you think? Eh? Eh?
Not my cup of tea. Sorry.
Oh, God, that's a
See that?
lie.
You see that? That's more loyalty than your mother ever showed your father.
Quentin's just like, I'm gonna wait outside for you dorks.
Jackson just laughs as he starts to shrug into his clothes.
So, anyways, it looks like a search party's having some problems. We're not exactly sure what happened, but the drone went down, and we're worried that something went wrong. So, I'm thinking I'm gonna bring you on, because obviously you're the person here that I can trust to, deal with shit like this. And
You want me to get a full crew together?
what was that?
You want me to get a full crew together?
Yeah, if you don't mind.
All right. How many do you want total?
6,
6?
7 would be best. Yeah, and if you don't mind,
Including you and the little one?
what?
Including you and the little one?
I'm an average height.
Yeah, he has a name, but
I want to hug.
you know.
Just like sitting in
wanna
the
hug.
background, like
I want to hug. Oh, not you. Go away.
Sorry about that.
All right. He says, all right. And so
even the little one.
The
he
little
goes
one.
about gathering up several of the those who are on security detail but can be freed up. It takes him
I
about
tell him to bring I tell him to grab a few extra weapons and some rescue equipment just in case.
all right. Sure. It takes him about 15 minutes, and he walks up carrying his long rifle on his back, and you can see he's got several others with him. He's
These are all Marines, right? So they're all really big, yeah?
not for the most part. I mean, it's a mix of size, but I mean, like
Quentin's
stocky,
just like-
pretty decently built dudes. Quentin's just like,
just that face right there.
Just listening to like, don't touch me.
They're not all men.
Quentin. There are some beefy ladies too.
Quentin will be okay being fucking demasculated? Emasculated?
Oh,
Emasculated?
Let the girls crush
is
him.
that
That's
what
fine.
you're worried about? There you go.
All right. The crew is made up of Jackson and 2 other guys and 3 girls that are there. So it's a nice even mix.
Okay. All right.
And he says, "All right, lead the way."
Fantastic. Quentin, you mind doing the rest of the leading? I mean, you've got whatnot.
Oh, yeah. I can. Yeah.
All right.
You-
Knowing your way through,
All
so
right
when
there,
you
you little
No, I'm good.
nervous?
Yes.
Everything all right?
Quentin's just like.
on your first trip through, you were taking more time because you were staring at your pad, reaching for the signal. So you were moving a little more slowly. You weren't just kind of tripping through. Knowing where you're going, and with this group, you watch as you guys enter in and start off together in a line, and then you watch as Jackson tells people to move off to the side, and you watch as they kind of spread out. They're all within sight of each other, but they're spread out and they're kind of making a point through the woods. You guys move at a pretty good clip, and it actually only takes you about 45 minutes to get to the point where your data pad comes back into play, or where you guys were at. Jackson kind of pulls everybody in. He knows you're in charge, but he's
No, I've probably given him captaincy duties for now, just because I'm focused on what Quentin's doing and where he's more than actually getting the team.
so he pulls everybody. He pulls everybody in, and they all kind of huddle up in there. And he tells them to take a knee. The forest ahead of you is pretty dense. Imagine it's like northwest, like the northwest forest, like BC, yeah, like Pacific Northwest. So a lot of moisture, a lot of fallen trees, but a lot of moss and undergrowth that from that kind. They're picking their way carefully, but the path that you're on is clearly marked because it's one that you guys kind of make all the time. You head, he says, okay, we're getting near the edge of the mountain line, and we should see the ridge lines ahead of us. We should see this open up to kind of a rocky area, and we're going to go in that direction. From what I remember from their detail this morning, that they're going to head from here. They're going to head south along the ridge line and map out another about a 10-mile stretch, and then they were going to head back out from there, triangulating their position. So with that being said, we should break up a little bit and keep within eyesight of everyone. Move slow, keep low, and keep yourselves careful out there. All right?
Sounds good. Fair enough.
They all nod and they stand, and you start to head out. I would like for are you letting him take point, and you're kind of, both of you are kind of behind them?
Yeah, I mean, if we're splitting up, are we each taking?
You're not splitting up, you're spreading out, and then you're kind of pushing through. And you're kind of behind them.
Yeah.
All right.
He's taking point. I'm making sure that I'm keeping and checking the all that shit.
You go in deeper for about another 40 minutes, and you hear one of the Marines calls out, and everybody kind of slowly backs into that position. They don't just run all and converge. You watch as the ones on the outside edge keep their eyes open and back into the position. When you get there, you can see one of the rucksacks one of the packs that they had with them is there. It's like the straps on it and the harness piece has been torn, and it's laying there. The zipper has been like ripped open, and the contents are empty. There's nothing inside of it.
Well, that's a little ominous.
There's no blood.
No blood.
No blood, but you can tell it looks like it was pulled off or ripped off and ripped open.
Okay. We're shit. I guess did we have when in the initial whatnot? Were there any reports of wildlife who might have done that, or if we had to take an educated guess about all life we saw? And knowing, if I asked Jackson what he knows about, Earth wildlife, for instance, or, I don't know, maybe Tane would know, and just, what kind of size or type of creature would have had the capability / motive to do something like that, what would we expect?
I'll let you give me, let's see. Give me an intelligence roll, an intellect roll. Because you're asking others and kind of getting the opinions of everybody, I'll let you give me a modifier of a 1 on that as well.
Okay.
Not bad. He says, any kind of creature with a large enough muscles, it looks like it may be made by a bear could make this. Definitely easily pull it apart and rip it open. But
there were those giant sloth bear things, right?
That's true. There was something like that. Not sure, honestly.
Well, let's take it with us. See what we can find around the area.
Yeah, he points at the pack, and one of the Marines comes over, picks it up, and she kind of hoists it over her shoulder and sets it up. They fan out again, and they continue moving. As you're walking, the path starts to crunch underfoot, and you all watch as they kind of look. It looks like little diatomaceous earth is what it looks like. Are you familiar with diatomaceous earth?
Could you say that again?
Diatomaceous earth.
That is so. It sounds really familiar, but I slept through most of
the
geology.
It's the bones of small creatures.
Okay. All right.
Like not creatures. It's diatoms is what they are.
Okay.
But they're very small creatures, and they leave a calcium deposit, and you can use it as a road covering. Some people use it for like medicinal purposes and things like that. It crunches. It's a good fertilizer, things like that.
Okay,
As you're walking, you can see it crunch, and you all kind of stop and look down, and you can kind of make it out. You can pick it up and run through your hands, and there's a pretty good amount of it. I mean, it's not 100% covering the ground, and this is all it's made out of, but there's a lot of it that you can actually scoop a little handful of it up and sift it through your hand.
Okay.
Jackson looks a bit concerned, and you watch as some of the others are looking around, and now they're not just looking left and right and behind them. They're actually starting to look up at the top of the large trees that they're in. Jackson kind of motions to everybody to kind of pull in a bit closer so that they all move in within not arm's reach, but pretty close to one another. Then you continue to march along the ridgeline. Nara.
Yeah.
Tritimus comes by and asks you how are you? Did you get enough sleep?
I had a decent nap. Which, until Nain is better, is all I'm going to get.
I would like to impart on you that Tane, Quentin, and a small retinue of Marines went off into the forest while you were napping.
Just for shits and
Okay.
I'm sure it's nothing to be concerned with, but I thought that I would let you know, as you seem to show fondness to two of those individuals in particular.
Fondness.
I hope Tane wasn't one of them.
Fondness for Tane. That seems to be a little bit of a stretch.
That's funny.
Less than Paul, but
Funny,
more than Mrs. Park.
Significantly less than Paul.
But significantly more than Miss Park.
But significantly more than Miss Park.
Right.
If I had the choice of shoving Tane or Park out of the airlock, it's definitely going to be Park.
There's a tinkling sound, and he goes, "I would help."
God bless.
I find her caricature to be detestable.
That is because it is.
It's good to know that I'm not far off the mark.
She's a bit of a bitch.
Indeed. Skippy. It's good hooch.
Good.
He's got a small flask. It's very fruity. But it's good hooch. It's prison wine, pretty much. I mean, look at what you got around you. He's not stripping the copper line out of there to make moonshine.
Get in the toilets.
Not using the toilets to make prison hooch. This kind of prison hooch. Anyways, Yamal and Jerry are having a good conversation, and Jerry starts to talk to you concerning the working with like some of the soil specialists. They have a large concern about the density and the concentration of nitrates in the soil. Nitrates are good for plants, but they're also bad because if you get too much of it and you get a supersaturation, your plant growth will be not good. So that's, you need a nice balance of other things in there. And he's concerned about the O2 content, or not the O2 content. He's concerned about the damn it. The content of the other chemical that I can't really keep in my mind right now because it doesn't allow it inhibits the water absorption. And that's another part of the issue as well. It's a salt and my brain just completely. He says, while it's not in enough concentration to cause us any problems, he is concerned that it may inhibit the growth of the plants that they put down here. They're working on a way to desalinate, for lack of a better way of saying it, the dirt, but the process is going to require a scrubber, which was one of the things that you saw on the priority list, is basically like a dirt cleaner. It's a scrubber that will help to at least remove part of that issue, and then they would have to figure out something else to do about the other part. He was also mentioning that they have several options as far as foodstuffs from the natural forest, but they have no real way of testing it. And, well, they do. They can use the chemists from the science group as well as the medical group. However, they're currently involved in something, and so he doesn't want to take away from that, because he reveals it, I'm pretty damn scared of Dr. Kalanara, or Dr. Morrison, as he says. I'm not gonna lie to you. I would wrestle a pissed off drunk rattlesnake before I tangle with that woman. I'm just saying, if it came to it, no, I would rather kiss a rattlesnake than have to deal with her if she's mad. So, but we could have some of them fellas look into the food options that we have here on the planet side. But I need to have some of them free, and of course, like I said, she's working with them. Maybe, just maybe, you might ask her to free up one of the chemists that can help us out.
Talk to her about it.
I sure do appreciate it. I know your mom would be appreciative too.
Give me a day or so I can try to catch her in a good mood. But
yeah. Good luck.
Is there any chance that we could breed plants that'd be resistant to this?
Over time,
having to scrub every field we want to plant.
Well, over time we could, but to be right honest with you, we have a lot of extra food because of the fact that we skipped a bunch from what we learned from you guys. But it would still take a long time. Right. It'd still take a long time to try to breed a plant on this planet that would, because you're going to have to splice it in with something here to make, a hybrid out of it. And that's just, we don't know what we can use right now. That's why it'd be really helpful if we had somebody freed up who could tell us some more about this. But yeah, I appreciate you looking into that, and I guess we better get back inside there and listen to that lady drone on some more. Maybe we can come up with an emergency. Yeah. Maybe we can come up with an emergency. All right. So he heads back in. Tane and Quentin, you guys have been out for about 2 hours now. And there is the tree line along the ridge. Now you have not a cliff face, but more rocky facing to the west. Yeah, to the west of your position. You're moving south along the line. It really does look like walking along, a mountain was set right there. It's just rock facing right up there. So you looking at the rock, you're not a geologist by any stretch of the imagination. There are some of those here with you, but there's something interesting itself about the rock. It has like a sheen to it, almost a crystalline look. It's not like granite or any of the other rock that you see here on Earth that makes up most of your stones, but it's kind of a polished surface almost.
Were there any reports of anything like this from the initial scouting teams, or?
Not real. I mean, yeah, the rock here is different, and so they just try to describe it as best they can. But
Okay.
seeing it firsthand is, a lot different.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty fucked up. So we can't go. I mean,
Oh, you could absolutely climb over it if you want to.
all right. Tane walks right up to it and
Please don't
Try-
hurt yourself.
It's a
Listen,
smooth
who's gonna do it?
surface,
Not me.
so I mean, you'd have to find a place to climb up it. You can't just walk up to it and go, "I want to climb."
Okay, no. Tane takes a. Okay, this is gonna be the dumbest bullshit. But Tane's gonna his mental process. Well, Indiana Jones did it one time, and he walks up and he just takes 2 knives out of his belt and just tries to jam it into the rock. It probably the rock soft enough.
Give me a strength. I would like for you to give me. I think if I'm not mistaken, you have an athletics that's on your sheet.
I have a what?
An athletics or something like that along
Yes.
those lines.
Yeah.
Yes, I'd like for you to roll that for me.
Quentin's just watching from the background,
Quentin's
you could probably
You
do
jam
it.
the knife into the rock, and there's a noise.
there's a what?
Look.
Starts bleeding.
Noise. You pull the knife back, and the blade has bent at the end, so it's now sitting slightly askewed.
Quentin's trying not to laugh.
It's not the cartoons where you stab it and the knife curls up, but you can see that it bent.
Well, that didn't work.
Callus!
From behind you, there's just this pause, and then every one of them busts out laughing.
Tana, you
They
did
should
great.
They should expect this from me by now. I feel like this is.
It's
just
still
there's
hilarious. And they
probably
all
a
just
running-
crack up laughing at you. Jackson's like, well, let's keep moving. So they all just start walking again.
Hey, listen, can't say I didn't try.
You did
There's
great.
as you're walking along, again, they're keeping everybody in front of you, and they're not shoulder to shoulder. They're not even arm's length. They're just slightly outside of arm's length from one another. On the outside edge, not the mountain side, but the other side, you hear a sound and a whoop,
Oh boy. Like a human?
like a human going whoop.
Is it just a dry heave?
They all
Are you
stop and
okay?
turn and look, and the fellow that was on the outside edge, you don't see him.
Oh shit. Tane runs over.
Okay. Jackson, wait! And you watch as they all kind of stop. And they kind of hunker down for a second, and then they kind of creep forward. You just running over?
No.
If someone just fell and died, yeah.
I don't-
All right.
Well, you don't know he's dead.
Okay,
You
or
could
if,
just-
if someone
Maybe he tripped.
fell or whatever. Listen, Tane is not great at following the rules of things, and he's very quick to act when things go wrong because he would much rather be not following somebody die because he didn't act quickly.
Okay. Okay, sure.
Oh, God.
So you run over.
Oh,
Give
boy.
me another athletics, please.
I love it when my actions have consequences.
Quentin doesn't.
Okay.
0.
You run over to the spot where you last saw him, and you come up and draw up quick and stop, putting your hands out to catch one of the trees as you notice a chute made out of that same rock material, but seems to be smoothed out. Disappears down under the earth in one of the fallen trees. You can see how he wouldn't have seen it. It looks like he had to kind of put his hand on one of the trees and kind of step over it, and as he stepped over it, the chute was there. and it disappears. It's dark down there, and it disappears down into the ground.
Oh, that's fucking all right. So I'm like hanging from a tree now.
No, you're not hanging from the tree. You ran over to, and you can see, like you stopped because you were moving. You know, you were running, and you went whoa to stop
Like
yourself because you looked down at the last second to see there's a chute
Okay.
that let you fall down there.
Okay. All right. I call the others over.
Jackson
And-
moves up beside you and stands and looks down there.
That's
He
a
takes-
hell of a drop.
He takes one of his sticks out, breaks it, shakes, tosses it down in there. You hear it, and it seems to drop down a distance. From below, you hear Jackson go, "Oi, are you alive down there?"
Ah, shit.
There's a quiet, "Oh, that hurt." "Yeah, I'm alive."
All right. Shit. All right. Damn it. All right. Which of us is the smallest, excluding Quentin?
I mean, Quentin's more than willing to help where he's.
You look over and you see one of the ladies of she's a Middle Eastern descent. She looks and she's, other than Quentin, she's probably the smallest one.
Okay. Do I know her name?
Huh?
You know what? No, I do know.
It's like, do I know her name? Yeah, you do know her name.
Yeah, I do know.
Her name is Elaine.
Yeah. All right. Over here, Elaine. We're gonna get this rope tied around you in a safe way, and you're gonna have post.
As she's walking over, you can see she's already like harnessing the rope, like to make it a makeshift harness. She's like, I assumed. She tosses the rest of the rope to everybody else.
I would assume, given that she's a Marine, she probably has the upper body strength that if we drop her down here, she can at least hold on to the guy while the rest of us hoist her up.
She's smaller than he is, but you know that they can probably do something to get them back up.
Yeah. And
Even if it's just one at a time.
Right. Or if we tie them together or something like that.
Right,
With the 4 other Marines, I feel like we'd be able to bring them up
Yeah,
together.
with the 5 Marines. 4
Oh, wait.
you.
I thought you said there were 6 Marines plus Quentin.
There were 6 Marines, plus
Okay.
you're a Marine. That's
Oh,
7 Marines total.
Okay.
2 are down the hole.
I thought you
That's
meant
5
6 Marines
Marines
total.
left.
I thought you meant 6 Marines total. I thought I was one of the 6.
No,
Okay, cool.
he came over
Clarity.
with 6, including
Fantastic.
himself. So you're 7.
Oh, fuck, that's right. That's right. yeah. Okay.
You good, Atlas?
All right.
You got this?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, it just took me a second.
All right.
It happened.
Elaine, Elaine kind of puts her hands, racks her gun in front, and she puts her hands out, and instantly her hands are like, sliding. She says, "Oh, I can see why he fell." And she kind of starts to try to ease herself down, and all of a sudden the rope kind of starts to pull, and she says, "Oh," and you guys all grip the rope and then kind of ease her down. She yells back, and you can hear her. She says, 3 meters. And as she gets to the end, you can hear their voices. And they're talking. She's checking him. You can tell she's checking him out. She's like, "Move your leg, move your arms. Are you okay?"
Okay.
After a moment, you hear her call back, "Captain."
Yeah. How's it
Please.
looking down there?
There are a lot of tunnels that go off of this area. It's very
No.
curious. Some look as though they were bored out, but others look as though they are naturally occurring.
Hell. Do I still have comms to the colony from this
You can
distance?
try.
Okay, I'm gonna try and comm.
Who are you going to try to calm? Who are you trying to reach?
Skippy.
Okay.
So,
Skippy's in a meeting.
does he? I don't give a shit, nor do I know that.
All right, you reach out to where you think
Skippy!
Skippy is at, and
It's just like on the.
there's
comm
no
yelling.
response.
Damn it. All right. Nara, medical officer buddy, picking up in the mid bay. Anyone?
You got your ears on. Come on over.
Come on.
The comms light up, but they are staticky. You hear Nara over.
This isn't a Quentin issue this time.
Tane, get to a place where I can actually hear you.
What?
Yeah,
I
it
can't
came back
understand.
with. All you hear was top. It.
Shit. Right.
You know what? She's just gonna go back to the like archaic messaging, and is actually going to type out a message. Get into clearer area. For better communication, like get up high to pick up better signal.
I mean, I don't think Quentin would be helping with the rope. Quentin could go off. But
No,
not
you know
far.
what?
Line of sight.
Everybody hold your horses. All right. Let's bring him up for now. Make sure he doesn't need any medical attention. And then figure out Quentin and I will go find somewhere with better service. The colony. Let them know what's going on. Just in case. You know what? I'm also gonna fan back to base, have them send out a follow-up party in about 30 minutes. Just in case we don't make it back for where we are and what's going on. Quentin, do you have coordinates?
Quentin, I need you to give me 2 rolls. The
Okay.
first is an electronics roll.
You got it. No modifier.
No modifier. Okay.
I'm all about those 8s.
The second one is going to be a navigation with
Yeah.
a -1.
Ugh. Wait, do I just put the dash? I've never had to do a negative.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Just dash.
should just be able to put the dash.
I mean, I'm okay.
You could have done that.
You looking at your equipment,
Not work.
something is interfering with it, and every once in a while you can watch as the screen, the data kind of
just shifts like static. I
Yeah.
start seeing it.
which is weird considering the way this works, but at the same time maybe not. You are well enough to remember that you guys came with the mountain on your right, so now you're going to go back with the mountain on your left, heading north. You're not sure if you're going to be able to, how far back you'd have to go, and you're not sure what's messing with your communication. From
Does he
down
relate-
below, you hear, guys, can we come up now? I think I hear something.
Oh, like hell. Get him up here. Both of them.
All right. Give me an athletics check, and you can add a +4 to your roll. Okay. The 4 of you together pull them up. She has got basically the harness loop through her arms, and then is looped extra length through, and it's through him, so they're kind of chest to chest.
Okay.
And she has her gun racked behind her. Getting them up the chute together is easy enough. It's very smooth. It's very glass-like as it slides up.
Okay.
And you realize now that that's what's been striking you about the rock, is it's glass-like, very smooth, like something's shorn glass off, and that's what you're looking for. Sure enough, you see as you pull them up, you hear something down below, something moving, heavy.
Oh, shit.
Woof, 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 woof.
All right. Shit. Okay.
You have medic. I need you to give me a medic roll.
Okay. I will say, yeah. No. Okay. Sorry,
I realized I missed.
And
a
then
bit
I'll
there.
make my decision. It's important I have character things I need to think about.
They are checking them both out. You can see minor abrasion from rubbing up against something, that's not frictionless, but they don't seem to be hurt. There's no damage done to
Okay. Okay, so you just took a bad fall. So probably some bruising later though, right?
them. Yeah, I mean it's gonna leave a little bruise on his arm, but it's fine.
Yeah. Okay. Alright, so we hear this thing come. Shit. Okay,
It's what it reminds you of
Right.
is the sound of somebody who has like a big heavy sack, and they pick it up and drop it, and then pick it up and drop it, and then pick it up and drop it. So it's like.
okay. Jackson, you take Quentin, you find somewhere where we can radio back to the colony. I'll stay here, I'll take care of this.
Jackson smiles at you and then points up to the tree that's nearby you. He looks at Quentin and goes, "Want to climb like a koala?"
If you take my navigation officer, Quentin, into a tree, I will hang
Quentin's already
your
climbing.
underwear from
Yeah. What?
sweet trees.
What? Look, he's already going up.
He's Quentin fucking going. He's like, I'll be back.
You watch as he takes his belt and his harness off, finds one of the smaller trees. He looks at Quentin, who's like barely climbed up the tree. He goes-
trying.
He whistles over at you. Come here. You say, "Yeah, it's done."
Okay.
He takes the belt and loops it around the tree, and you watch as he uses it to find perch, sinks his feet in,
Like Mulan
Luke-
style.
loops the rope up. Have you never been deer hunting?
I mean, yeah, but
It's quite literally
Jesus Christ.
what you do.
That's so suspicious.
I'm just thinking of the Mulan scene where she climbs up the
Yes.
pole. Yeah.
I got you.
But yeah.
I've seen Mulan, but
Quite-
yeah.
Tane takes one look at that and just like shakes his head. He looks at Quentin and just be careful, and then goes back to like trying to figure out what the fuck is going on.
As you're standing there, a rope is lowered. He's about 20 feet off the ground or so, standing on
Put me
a
up, Scotty.
thick, sturdy branch.
Nice.
He says you watch as there's been 2 loops that are tied into it.
You just expect me to sit in the rope?
No, you put it around your arms, you dill
Well, like
pickle.
I could put the foot on it. I could put my arms in it. I could just sit in the rope and be like, "Yeah, this is great." Just fucking
You can
lift it
sit
up.
in the
Just
rope.
gonna pick
You
him up
put your
and he's
legs
like-
to the
he's
loops. He
like
starts to pull. You just go.
I don't know.
You
Quentin
just hear
doesn't
from up
know.
above. Yep, I can see why you 2 like each other.
Like this.
Oh, there are no secrets in those barracks.
Honestly, now
feel
that they've
like-
landed,
okay.
I feel like
It would be a little more open, but I feel like
Yeah.
the Marines know everything because, like,
That's a brotherhood.
They
It's
are.
that's a.
it is.
You guys are family.
Yeah, and
Quentin doesn't mind the teasing, but he's just like,
you consider I just like really quick segue here is just that like you consider the fact that first of all Tane is really close to all of these people, and like second of all, like what the fuck? How the fuck is he gonna hide? No way. You know,
They're
like
not.
everyone else is like in their world of
I
academia.
mean, you
and
have
that-
your own private quarters.
I mean,
But
most of the time,
no, and
Quentin's
I mean,
probably
it-
coming out of there anyway. At some point.
exactly. There's
What,
like
Quentin, did you sleep over?
shut the fuck up.
Maybe. You don't
All right,
know
so
me.
you
Sleep really
so you
bad.
harness up and
All
you know,
night
using
movie
your own feet-
marathon, motherfucker.
using your own feet and your own belt looped around there like he did. He helps you climb up. He's not like pulling you up. You're gonna do
No,
it
no,
right now.
No. Do you want me to roll for that?
I would love to see you roll for that.
Okay, what do you want me to roll? Strength? Wait, no, I don't even think I have.
You
that.
have athletics.
I have athletics.
Yeah.
I was about to say
Give me a +1.
Can I like actually see with my eyes? There we go. A +1. Yay! Bring it back. See, I mean, it's an
Yeah.
eight. It's okay.
You do it. Yeah, you climb up there. It's rough. It's not easy. It's not
Slips
what
a
you're
little
used
bit,
to.
smacks his head against the tree.
Yeah. Ow.
It's okay. Just
Sorry
one
about
little
that.
scratch on his forehead.
He's not bleeding. It's like,
Just
gets
a
you to
red
the top.
mark.
It's just this like rub mark on your face. He gets you up to the tree, and you look at your navigational. You look at your equipment again, and it's still doing whatever that was. It's not as bad as it was before, but there's still that interference that's going on.
Is there? Oh, it's Jackson, right? That helped me with the tree.
Yeah, Jackson.
Is there any way we can get higher in the tree, or is that too much?
I mean, we can try to get high, but remember that it gets a little thinner at the top, and then there's a little bit more of a wind.
Oh, yeah,
You might
that's
not want to
true.
be in the breeze there.
Jackson's taller than Quentin, I'm guessing.
Yeah, he's about 6'3".
Yeah, he's taller than Quentin. Can you take the nav equipment and just hold it above your head, like as high as you can, just to see if there's a difference?
He looks at you.
Someone taller to
He
hold
like
up, thinking
leans
it's
in
a
like
girl.
close to you, like looking at your face, and goes, "You put me on." He grabs the nav equipment and goes,
Just don't drop it, please.
"Oh, kidding."
Is there any difference in the screen that I can like tell
No.
by looking at? Fuck. Okay, give it back.
Hey,
Now it's
hey.
just a fight in the middle of a tree to fucking get his nav equipment back. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Oh, and it is at this point you can see what the other end of the rope was anchored to. Yeah, it's tied to an Australian.
Oh. Great.
Which is better than that New Zealander you got yourself shacked up with.
Now listen. You don't know nothing. Mr. fucking
So,
Oh, this Jackson versus Tane in the fight for Quentin's hand.
fucking smacks Jackson in the chest.
you guys
Oh,
get right up to square up. You get to square up, and he goes, "Boop." You can have him.
Take him, I
I'm
don't want him.
gonna fight you for him.
You look at him, and he just falls
Oh.
down like he's in a football game, like he's in a soccer game. He just grabs his knee. Ah! All right. All right,
Get
bring it
out
back
of
around.
me.
You quickly assess that you're sure that whatever this is, it's not the height that's going to disrupt
Huh.
or bring your signal back. There's something else interfering with this.
Is
You
maybe it's the rocks? Are the rocks weird? Like I know the rocks are weird, but
The Rock is a.
are the weird rocks.
You leave him out of this.
Excuse me, he's dropped that. It's Dwayne. Congratulations, you've killed players. I'm starting to lose players. What's going on?
oh god.
You
Oh. Sorry, go.
he looks around and he says, "It's a nice view. You ready to go down now?"
Yeah.
All right. You first.
Okay.
And he braces himself, against the tree.
I'll
You don't weigh very much, but still.
No, I don't. Thank God
Right.
for that.
You make your way down the tree. I'm not going to make you roll athletics or anything.
Perfect.
You make your way down the tree, and then he proceeds to climb down behind you. Tane, while they're up the tree, what are you doing?
I'm down. I mean, obviously, I'm like checking for make sure this guy's not in any pain. And then I am just gonna like. Do we have like flares?
Yeah,
Our flare's a good
Okay.
idea.
like a flare gun,
Yeah.
or
I
like
don't give
or
a
like
shit.
snap,
Sure, I
strike,
guess.
drop
I'd
flare.
probably prefer the snap strike drop. Just
Okay, yeah.
I'm not gonna like shoot a flare down into this hole, but I am gonna.
Okay. You weren't trying to. Okay. You're not trying to pop smoke to get
No,
somebody's
no.
attention. You're wanting to drop a flare down
I'm
there.
trying to actually like, yeah, to see if it either attracts the attention of whatever the fuck's down there, or like illuminates it a little bit, so that we can get a better idea for like what is down.
Elaine tells you that the chute isn't straight; it's actually sloped, and
Oh, so that's why we can't.
yeah, it's not like. Yeah, it's not like that. It's like, it kind of does like that.
Okay, so the world's worst water slide. All right. I fucking hate those really enclosed water slides.
Oh.
Anyways, bad claustrophobia.
She
Okay.
tells you it's only about 4 meters down.
Okay. Okay.
Anybody want to do a quick conversion? No?
No, I don't.
It's a little over 12 feet, if I'm not
fuck
mistaken.
Canadian number. Yeah, about. Okay. Yeah, I'm just gonna. Fuck, man. Okay. Well, all right. Assuming that I'm the head of defenses, probably makes sense for me to take the liability. Assuming anything.
Are you going down the hole?
I'm going down the hole. I'm having them attach me to a rope, and if anything goes wrong while I'm down there, I'm gonna just give like 2
All right.
tugs.
They start bringing out the actual climbing equipment.
The
at this
actual
point.
good stuff.
And it's basically harness pieces that have D-rings so that they can clip and so that they can, basically cinch you up. And they don't have any like spiked shoes, or I don't think they have any pythons, but you can.
That's okay. I just need enough supplies that'll get me down there and let them pull me up if anything.
All right. And down the hole you go.
Before he even goes down the hole, Quentin is like fucking up in his face. He's like halfway down the hole, maybe. And Quentin's just like up in his face, like just like holding it, like, please be careful. Like he's not. He doesn't want to see Tane go down a hole. He's just like, no.
Trust me, I'll be fine. Just
from behind you, one of the other guys goes, "Hey!"
They're just like looking up. Quentin will actually give him a quick kiss before he goes down.
There's a collective "Aww" from the
Quentin's
Marines.
just like pissed off. It's like he doesn't care.
That's really cute. If anything goes wrong, you Jackson, get everybody out of here. And also Quentin, if they give you any shit, you have my permission to punch.
Yeah, Jackson drapes his arm around
hurt
Quentin.
myself more.
If you don't come back, can I have your stuff?
This is when we find out that Jackson's not actually gay. And he's like hardcore straight. And he just does this to get Tane's goat. Like, he
totally
does it.
is.
Yes! Yes!
Totally, he just
fucking
doesn't care.
called it!
He just has fun. All right.
Quentin picking every little fucking like.
What's that?
Not to fucking kid.
Did you just imply Tane hangs around straight people? Because I'm not sure I appreciate that.
But you do hang around straight people.
Stop.
All right. Tane goes down the hole.
Anyways.
Nara. Skippy. The meeting ends. Finally. You leave, and Gerald and Yamal are laughing as they're leaving. They've invited, let's see, pretty much everybody but Kim, who goes off with her sycophants to do whatever they do. But the rest of them all kind of gather around. You watch as Gerald calls in some of the workers, and it's getting on later in the day. So they all meet back at the mess, or back at the cafe, or the cafeteria, excuse me. And you can see that Yamal and Gerald and a lot of them are really in on their people. They have a good camaraderie built with them. And they don't sit at special, they sit with everybody else, and they're just down in the trenches kind of people. They invite you over, and drink and food is had, and of course they share several jars and other containers that are full of this wonderful, sweet but good stuff. Prater walks in. As he does so, there's a quiet that falls over most of the group. You can watch as he walks with his hands kind of just here, and he looks at people. He doesn't say anything. He just kind of walks by, and as they walk, they just kind of get quiet and watch him. They don't stop talking. There's still like a little murmur of conversation here and there, but he walks up to where you were at.
Hello, Prater.
Ensign, the Praetor would like to make it your attention that Tane and Quentin have gone off into the forest with a retinue of men. They have not returned in some time.
Did they say why they left?
I apologize, they did not indicate why they had gone. They have been gone for, at this point in time, 4 hours.
Has the captain crew made it back?
Negative. They have not returned.
Do you know when they were scheduled to come back?
I apologize, I do not.
Oh well, we'll swing by the security place and check.
Would you like me to accompany you?
Please.
Excellent. And he turns and waits for you.
Guys, I better go check on this. Make sure nobody's stuck out in the woods somewhere.
Yeah.
One more jar, so I will take one to go.
There's good-hearted laughter from everyone. They go back to doing whatever it was they're doing, which oddly they're playing dominoes. There's a few of them that are playing dominoes, and some are playing cards. You follow Praetor, or Praetor follows you as you head to the security office. You can see that some of the men who are on duty are being relieved by others. They're swapping out their positions for security details. The current staffing is down to 10, so 5 going on, 5 coming off. Make sure I do my math right. Yeah, okay. You stop and catch one of the men. You're not like really familiar with any of them, but kind of seen them coming and going. What would you like to add? Yes, sir. How can I help you?
How long has Tane been gone?
I'm sorry, I'm not sure. They
you
really
have any
didn't.
idea why he left?
I apologize. I was walking the beat. I something about maybe looking into the other crew that went out this morning. I'm not sure. I'm sorry.
Somebody inside.
All right.
I'll go in. I'll just kind of flag down whoever's in there.
Yeah, there's a couple of them you can see they're kind of putting on, some of their equipment. Ensign. Yes, sir. How can we help you?
For Tane, or information on him, on why he left.
Tane and Quentin went off with a small detachment to look into the crew that left this morning along with the captain. It looks like they had gotten signal from that little thing that they fly around.
Drone?
Right. That thing.
The captain, her group isn't back yet either.
No, sir, they're not.
Are we back?
Yeah, follow me and I can show you. And he goes over to it's one of the old teacher's desks, it's like this metal rimmed thing with like a Formica top and then like big metal legs on it. It's stuck over in the corner. And on it you can see like it's not an ink blotter, but it's like a little pad and it's got several rows of papers on it. One of them is shift duty, who has what shift, but there is one that talks about the foray out and back, and they were slated to come back in about 20 minutes from now is what it looks like, according to your guesstimate.
Bring them up on the comms. If they're 20 minutes out, that's close enough we should pick them up.
You should probably be able to pick them up. Trying to raise them on the comms. That Marlon Ubati was one of the ones. He was the head of that little crew. You try to hail him on the comms, and there's a crackle, but nothing else.
Try to hail Tane on the comms.
There is nothing. Quentin, while you were there watching the go down, there is a crackle on your comms, it's Skippy's voice, but it's so garbled and broken up that it just sounds like.
Okay. Did Nara's message earlier in writing go through? That's why we climbed the tree, right?
Yeah, you caught most of it. It did come through. Most of it did.
Okay.
Also, Tane would have told you, like, his whole point in telling you to go find Signal was.
Yeah, you would have told
Yeah.
him. Nara said,
Yeah.
"Hey, go climb a tree," and not in a mean way.
Climb a tree. I'll try walking out a little bit, not too far, so I'm like not in sight. But
And I told Jackson to keep an eye on it. So
Yeah, which I was about to say. As soon as you start to move away, Jackson's like, up. Where do you think you're going?
none of your damn business. Fucking right. No, I'm kidding.
I will nail your feet to the goddamn ground.
Try me. Runs. No.
There's just this laugh. Give him 5 minutes, he'll be out.
He'll be like fucking on the ground napping somewhere. No, I'm gonna go out. I'm gonna. There's something's coming through. Let's just start walking away a little bit. He's not
Beth.
coming anymore.
Go with him. And you watch as one of the ladies walks over. She's
Oh my
got
God, I'm kidding.
she's got like it's a squad automatic weapon. It's an LMG. She's got it like strapped there on her
Ooh.
kind of around her with a tote. She's walking with you
Okay. Thank you.
in the back of your mind. Nara. Tritimus walks into your location again. I have some concerns.
Mm-hmm. If it's to tell me that I need to eat and sleep again, you can hold them. Because it's not, you're just gonna waste your processing power.
Right, no, actually this is concerning Tane and Quentin. They've been gone for some time, and the captain, according to the data that we have, should be returning here shortly. And yet we've no word from either of those crews.
No, I did receive word about 20
Probably
minutes
would have
ago.
been about 20, 30 minutes ago. Right.
But it was all jarbled, so they're trying to find a better reception area for their communications. Something out there is interfering with it.
I mean, you didn't know that we weren't sending out a distress signal.
Look, she's just trying not to assume the worst.
Fair enough.
Because you have her best friend out in the fucking forest!
He's doing fine.
There's
He's fine.
right. Right. And he turns and leaves.
Send the robot.
That was it?
Bye.
Bye!
Bye.
Hey, you've told him don't waste his processing power. You've kept the conversation short. He's like, I got it.
Yep, and
Like,
I'm going right back into figuring what the hell this shit is with Nain.
all right, Skippy, you are. Are you still in the Marines' quarters?
At the moment, yes.
Okay. The Praetor kind of looks up for a second, and he turns and he starts heading out of the area.
Praetor.
I'm being requested, and he exits the building.
I'm gonna follow after him.
All right.
Thank you
You
guys for the time and head on.
as you exit, you can see Tritimus
Oh.
making his way. Yep.
I will tell them to call me if they get word from anybody.
Yes, sir. You exit the building and you can see Praetor and Tritimus making kind of a line towards each other.
That's what I figured.
They stop kind of like not at the edge of the forest, but like closer there. They're walking. You can see they're having a conversation. The Praetor puts his hands again, like up in this position, and he kind of nods his head. Are you gonna try to get close enough you can hear him, or are you just walk?
I'm not sneaky. I'm just walking up to him. I'm not. Trying to be sneaky here.
You watch as Tridemus turns again, that just blank slate of a face, and the Praetor turns and looks at you as well. Dr. Nara is busy with Science Officer Nain. We have concerns about Tane and Quentin, and of course, Captain.
A little concerned there myself.
Tridemus says, as he looks towards the forest, he does something very almost human-like. He crosses his arms for a second, and he puts a hand up to that blank slate of a face. Something is wrong with their communications, I believe. It's concerning.
How long would it take to prep our little puddle jumper?
Not long at all. It'd be ready to go momentarily.
The crew is supposed to be back in 20 minutes.
Shall we wait 20 more minutes?
That time. Get the ship ready to go. Give them that time, and if they haven't shown back up.
Then the Praetor and I will make preparations for the ship then. Do you plan on taking any crew with you? I know that the security staff is a bit in demand at the moment. Maybe some of the workforce.
Volunteers. But I don't want to panic anybody, because we don't know there's a problem other than communications difficulties.
Might I make a suggestion? Mr. Gerald Henson and Yamal seem to be reasonable individuals.
Mm-hmm.
And from what I understand, the Praetor's been telling me you've made some progress towards a relationship with those individuals. Perhaps maybe if you enlist their help, see if they have someone that they would be willing to trust to turn over to you in the short term.
It's not a bad plan. You go get the ship prepped. I will go see about getting some muscle.
Aye, aye. And they both turn and leave to head towards the ship and the landing pad where it's at. Tane.
Me.
The hole, about 4 meters. It opens into a flat. The floor is flat, and it's made of that same stuff, but it's covered with, here and there, there's debris and detritus along there, like plant matter that's been, laying here. You see 4, for lack of a better way of saying it, 4 tunnels that lead off from here. The one that you came through, and then 2 more that are kind of at an angle. So like it would be from your tunnel here, this other tunnel here, and it goes across like that. The other, so it's 2. You have the other one seems to come out from like an odd position in the wall. The chamber itself is this kind of an oval shape or an ellipse. And so you have one that kind of cuts across it this way, the one that you came through, which is kind of almost in the middle of the wall. You have another one that's down in the bottom right-hand side of the ellipse, and then you have another one that's like over in the up, like on the completely left side. They don't seem to be making a path anywhere, like this wasn't a junction and they keep cutting through, with the exception of that one path. That one path seems to be smoothly bored out. The rest of them have, sway and jag and stuff like that. Like they're not perfectly smooth. There's turns and twists in them, from what you can see. But this one seems to be a perfectly smooth path through.
I'm going down that one. I can't say Tane really has the mental capacity to do any kind of critical thinking about like
You've got your flare
this
up.
path might be this. Like
You
yeah.
have a light. You have a torch. You know, a light that's on your chest that you can turn on and shine in there. And
that
as
one's
you
on.
as you do so, you catch multifacets from the way this cavern is naturally made, and it bounces the light and really lights it up in here. As a matter of fact, Quentin, you can actually kind of make out some of the light down below as he turns on just his little breast pocket light. It is stretching out for some distance. And again, it is smooth board.
Okay. Would I be able to like would I be able to walk on it without sliding or?
The bottom of it, so it's not a perfect circle.
Oh,
it seems like the bottom
okay,
of it
so
has
it's-
enough where
it's
you
still
can
like-
kind of walk on it.
Okay, then yeah, I'll go. I mean, as long as I can.
Oh,
I mean,
and the height of
assume the
it,
rope is pretty
you
long.
do not have to
Yeah.
worry about bending or bowing over at all. It's tall.
Awesome.
Is it though?
Hashtag tall.
Hashtag what the F is boring through this. You lead that way. Skippy, you come up to Gerald. He says, how do you want to present this to him?
That we have lost communication with the captain's group. Sent out after them. This group was originally scheduled to be back in 20 minutes, which means they should be in communication range. I am planning to take the little puddle jumper we put together out that way. Take some men with me, just in case there's any injuries, or I'm hoping they just found hit a dead spot, something that cut off communication.
Yeah, he kind of nods his head and rubs the back of his neck for. Yeah.
And some equipment, chainsaw type stuff in case, we have to.
Yeah, we can do something like that. Yeah, we got some.
Spread it around too much right now. We don't want to cause a panic.
I understand. All right, yeah, we can put something together like that. And he says, I'll have my men meet you over there. And it takes about the same time that it takes him to prep it. So about that 20-minute mark is up, and you see about four people walking over, all men, but they've got sawzall, like the sawzalls with them. A couple of them have sawzalls. You see some other it's a long like gaff pole with a hook on the end and a spike out of that part, so it looks like it could stab or grab and pull. They seem to be equipped to basically work in and around rock and wood specifically. They mount up and introduce themselves. One of them gives his name as Barry. Another one gives his name as Richie. There's a David and there is a Kenny. They, just kind of give you first names and they climb. They, the Praetor and Tridemus are both at the helm, and you start to take off, and there's no sign of the captain. The engines are spooled up and ready to go. Praetor Tridemus looks at you and says, "Well, it's your call. You're in charge." As you wish. And from outside,
I will go to the communication area, trying to get a signal back or forth from them.
Okay. You're just trying to get to where you can keep getting a signal in and out. All right, Nara, as you are there, you hear the sounds from the ship roar into life. Paul comes peeking around the corner and he goes, "Just letting you know." And he's like back away a distance, kind of like just barely peeking around the corner. Just letting you know, I saw the ensign and a few men with what appears to be, working hardware climbing into the ship. Not sure what's going on. I just thought I'd let you know. Please don't kill the messenger as he disappears around.
Poor Paul lives in such constant fear.
Nah.
She's gonna go over the comms. She's going to connect to the ship. Ensign,
Yes, Doctor.
can I ask what you're doing?
Is this allowed?
Jason's like, what am I gonna say?
Just kind of sitting there.
And specifically, does it have something to do with going after Tane and a routine of Marines?
Correctly. I mean, his group's missing, but they're not technically late yet. The captain should have already been back, and her group's missing. Patient with any of them.
Captain Marilyn, who is not known for their punctuality, if we remember the lack of being able to wake up on the ship.
Damn!
Just
There is a really good chance that Captain Marilyn has found an interesting direction to go in, and they are mapping out a new area. If they are not back by tomorrow, it would be cause for concern. Again, out with a bunch of Marines.
Could be
Or no,
done.
for being punctual.
Do we know if anybody has been hurt?
Two of them were from them.
We have no word from them.
Okay. If we can get a better signal, then perhaps we can get more information. However, again, there is a vast majority of Marines out there. They are all equipped to handle this. And they're trained to handle this. Who do you have with you that is trained to handle this kind of stuff? You. And who?
Praetor's on board, and Tridimus is here.
So you're taking an
You know, I agree,
untested...
you gotta boost
You're
lock.
taking 2 untested androids, plus yourself, and 4 untrained civilians.
The androids is thousands of years old.
2 untested androids, Ensign. I understand that you are concerned. However, there has to be a little bit of trust in our people to do their fucking jobs.
From over the shoulder, you hear, "Shall I put us down?" Okay. Shall I proceed? She seems quite upset.
Should I stay or should I go?
It's a day that ends in a while.
No, these are the 2 I ship. It's Edith and Archie, but where Nara is Archie. Just
Oh,
Okay,
Alright.
Ensign. Best of luck.
Trust the Marines. Don't be worried.
I just trust people to do their fucking jobs.
I mean, Nane's still out cold, but we're all
And I'm doing my job to bring him back, but you know.
scheduling conflicts.
Try not to use up too much of the fuel. We've only got so much.
Understood.
Good luck.
He puts the... He, not even waiting for you to say, all right, let's go ahead and proceed. You hear the throttle up as the ship hovers over in the direction. All right. Tane.
Me. Hello.
The tunnel in front of you seems to go on for a distance, the rope at the top of the hole is getting shorter as you continue down this tunnel. As you're moving, there's kind of a soft like squashy sound under your feet.
Somebody stepped in poop.
What do I see?
It is like green in color. Most of it is not solid, but there are a few solid bits in there. You see a little bit of that diatomaceous earth mixed in with it, but not much. I mean, like a little bit of it.
So bones, basically, is what you're telling me.
Small
bones in this.
little critter bones, but not like critter, like vermin, like tiny, almost imperceptible.
Okay. I mean, I guess like whatever the fuck this is. No, you know what? I want to take like a small sample of it. Do I have like some kind of sample collection kit or like vials or something
Marine
with me?
Marine.
Do I have anything I could put it in? Like even just like an old lunch container or some shit.
Marine,
like,
please.
I could take Okay. All right. Then in that case I'm just going to keep going, I guess.
Nara's whole thing. Trust them to do their job. Oh god.
Okay.
There you go. So you can get an idea of what I'm talking about when I say diatomaceous. Those are diatoms.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Cool
All right.
beans.
You continue down. The rope is getting shorter. You hear you feel a pull on it.
Okay.
Then
Okay. Implying I'm at the end.
yeah, well, you're not sure. Quentin, the rope has come to an end. You watch as they loop the end of it around and bring it through one of the rings on another D-ring. They clip another piece of rope to another D-ring and then run those together so that they've got the rope.
Yeah.
All right. You don't feel anything. You kind of give it a pull and it's slack again. So I guess you get the idea that you can continue. You have a personal comm. I mean, it's like a mic. You know, it's not like a whisper mic, but it's like a mic.
Like a short range or...
Yeah. Tapping it, it's a lot of static. Like the signal doesn't carry real clear through here. And it bounces around a bit, but you kind of hear a clear.
Okay. Tane reaches for the mic and holds it up to his mouth best he can and just says, I'm gonna explore a little. Dump of the rope. Unhooks the rope.
You hear little dump rope. All right, you're gonna continue on.
He's yeah.
Okay. As you are continuing, the tunnel continues on and opens up into another one of those large chambers. Looking around the chamber, it is not empty. You see a large shape, mostly tubular.
Tubular, dude.
Tubular. It is presently, most of the body is coiled up and it looks like the end of a giant earthworm. But as you watch, what you can only assume the head of it picks up and kind of turns with no eyes, looks at you, and you see what appears to be a pointed beak. Something green kind of drops and hisses as it looks at you. It doesn't do anything, and then it turns, and you watch as it pushes against the rock. There's a hissing. and it starts to slowly push its way into the beak opens slightly as it does this, pushing through, like watching somebody use acid etching on glass to bore through this thing.
Okay. So it's running away, or not running away, but like going away from me. It's
moving away from you.
Okay.
There is a sound of something striking the stone, or like a click, click. Looking, you see what appears to be humanoid figures, long legs, truncated torsos with long arms. Their faces, when they turn and look at you as well. There's 4 of them. Long, spindly arms are holding appear to be spears with these stones shaped from the same material. Their heads, as they turn to look at you, have these elongated beaks, much like that thing had. And you watch as they all turn and look at you. Spears are lowered at you. One of them reaches forward and pulls off what it's wearing. And that's what we're going to call it for tonight. All right. Thank you very much to Atlas playing Tane, Maddie playing Nara, for more than just playing Nara, but for also broadcasting and hosting for me. We have Jason, who is playing Skippy, our ensign, who got to put up with the worst part of this all, being in that damned meeting.
At least you didn't have to RP the meeting.
No. And then I'd also love to thank V, who was playing Quentin. We had a lot of fun tonight. As always, we are back next Wednesday with more Alone in the Void, but we will also be back on Monday.
Not next week.
Oh.
It's Halloween next week.
No, it's not.
No, it's
Nope,
not.
2 weeks.
This week is the 24th.
I'm all turned around on dates because of school right now.
It's all right. We will be back next Wednesday with more Alone in the Void. And then on Monday, again, we'll be back with Foundations of Adelar, which if you haven't, you should really be watching that. That's an interesting place to be. And no one even wonders where Ugdathar is gone.
No, trust me, she does. She just doesn't say anything, because if she doesn't say anything, nobody else asks, and then he doesn't come back.
I'm just glad y'all haven't died yet.
Seriously, well,
I mean, yeah.
Not
I
died,
mean, it
gone to
was
prison,
almost
maybe.
third time the charm.
Shut up!
I said that I said it takes a special DM to get rid of 2 characters bloodlessly. I mean, there was no death. There was nothing. Just they're no longer there.
And then we almost got TPK'd.
But again, I'd love to thank these guys for, as always, for playing along with me, and I had a great time. Thank you very much. Until Monday, we love you guys. We will see you next time. Take care, guys.
Just real quick for anybody who's watching, on Halloween, we are going to change things up just a little bit, as our resident DM will be out taking his kids trick-or-treating.
Yes.
Atlas will be our DM for the night. I believe we're running a murder mystery, correct?
we are. It'll be awesome. I'm super excited. I got some advice from someone who's done several murder mysteries, D and other RPGs, so I'm very excited.
Yes, it should be a good time. I'm almost sad that I'm going to miss it, but if you don't know me personally, you don't realize when I say my kids are everything to me. I inundate some of these people with pictures of my kids all the time.
It's
On top of that,
pretty friggin' adorable.
that'll run from 6 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. EST. So we'll be playing for 3.5 hours.
Yep.
And then right after that, there will be a very special movie showing starting at 10 o'clock p.m. EST. As we will be showing the horror movie that I starred and did the costuming for.
That's
at
right.
10 p.m. on Halloween.
Woo!
Yes. Tune in. It'll be great.
So-
we'll start doing broadcasting and look for us on Twitter and things like that. Oh, speaking of Twitter, I know there's only like 2 people viewing right now. I have been petitioning Wizards of the Coast, which is Wizards _ capital D lowercase n capital D, Monday. Conveniently enough, on every schedule between 4 and 7 p.m. Pacific, which is 6 to 9 Central, 7 to 10 Eastern, they have a blank spot. Do you know what airs on that time slot on Monday between those hours?
Boy,
That's
tell us,
right.
Cap, what does?
Foundations of Adelar. So I have been
Oh
asking
my
them
gosh.
weekly, and I have now made it a campaign to request Wizards pick up our show. I'm offering our show for that
For
time
free.
slot. For free. I'm not asking for anything from them. I don't want anything. I just want them to pick up our show in that time slot. So I would love it if all of you follow Dire Bear AC, Dire Bear Adventuring Company. If you look on Twitter for Dire Bear Adventuring Company or Dire Bear Adventuring CO, you can find us. Follow us, and when you see me post to Wizards _ D&D, retweet it, send them a message, tell them, hey, pick up this show. They're great. If you think we're great. If not, don't say anything, please.
Don't say what. Just reblog it. Just retweet it.
Just
Don't say
retweet it,
that.
but don't say anything else. I would love to see us pick up that time slot. Yes, this is what I would love to see. And for no other reason than one, if we get that, we can increase our production value, which means that all of the video stoppage and the audio issues, we can actually start taking care of that. More importantly, though, and this is what I would really love, because I run this as a company, I would like to start treating my players to some special things other than just my mug and face and sound. So, retweet so that we can get picked up by @Wizards _ D&D.
And with your guys' help, we could become an internet sensation. So,
Exactly.
But yeah, so that was those are the big ones. Specifically
More
for
to
our Monday
come.
night campaign, make sure you tweet us out. Make sure we get some support from you guys. Wednesday of Halloween, which is the 31st of October, we will have not Alone in the Void, but we will have a Atlas
Alone in the
murder
Murder.
mystery instead.
Alone in the Murder? What? No, Alone in the Dark? No, wait, that's taken.
Followed up
That's-
shortly
that's-
after by the viewing of the horror movie I was in. There will be links and sending people over to the appropriate channels at that time. But we look forward to seeing you guys Monday if you're joining us for Foundations of Adelar, or we will see you next Wednesday.
Alone in the Void. Take care, guys.
Bye.